What is up, fight fans? Man, I will tell you what, we got it figured out. We are live on MMA Weekly, your most trusted source for news and entertainment, covering mixed martial arts for almost 20 years. I'm Jim Greasehaber, soon to be joined by the one and only Jeff Kane. Jeff is pulling double, triple, quadruple duty today. He's writing. He's got it covered on MMA Weekly. Big announcement coming your way from Dana White and Khabib the Eagle Nurmagomedov. And let me just tell you what, guys, I think Khabib's going to fight again. I don't know if it's going to be the winner of Conor Poirier. I doubt he'll want his last fight, or anyone will want his last fight to be against Dustin Poirier. No disrespect to Dustin Poirier, but it'll either be, I think, Conor McGregor or Georges St. Pierre, and we'll see what happens there. And Khabib has said multiple times that he doesn't want to give Conor McGregor the rematch. But we have a big fight card today. So many huge things going on in the world of mixed martial arts with the UFC coming up right now. This is the beginning of their 2021 year. They're back on Fight Island. 3 events in 1 week, culminated by Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier, too, along with the debut in the UFC of Michael Chandler. And he will be taking on Dan Hooker. So that's going to be exciting as well. Very, very cool start to the year. And look, they're on network TV. Broadcast TV for the first time in 3 years since the Fox deal ended. They're on ABC, which of course owns ESPN. And we have the main card already underway. So excited. So many big things coming your way here on MMA Weekly. Some partners coming on board with us here soon. Jeff and I are going to be bringing you all kinds of content throughout the year. It'll be the two of us. It'll be others joining us. You'll keep seeing the big time interviews that I get for you here on MMA Weekly. You'll see the coverage that we do on site. Fight in, fight out, whether it's overseas, whether it's in Vegas, whenever the fans come back, wherever the UFC goes, MMA Weekly will be there, as we always are. We'll do live weigh-in shows, live post-fight press conference shows. We're going to be doing shows that stream during the fights, just like this one, and just like for Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier, UFC 257 coming up next Saturday night, the 23rd. I'm excited. Tomorrow's my birthday, 49 years young. What better way to spend my last day of my 48th year right here with you on MMA Weekly. And Jeff Kane will be joining me very shortly. We'll bring him in when he comes on. But guys, very excited for this announcement with Dana White and Khabib Nurmagomedov. Very excited for Max Holloway and Calvin Kattar. And right now the first fight is in the books. And Bruce Buffer is in the octagon making the official announcement. We're going to have the chat on throughout the show here today on YouTube Live. We got a lot of big things coming your way on YouTube and Facebook with MMA Weekly, as well as our Instagram, our Twitter. Huge, huge things going on this year as Soriano picks up the win. TKO 448 of round number 1. Brunelli Soriano, and he's in there with John Anik. And that's tough to do, by the way, as a play-by-play announcer, to go in there and do an interview after calling a fight. Usually it'll be Rogan in there, but when it's no Joe Rogan, John Anik goes in and does the interview, and then you get, Daniel Cormier and Dan Hardy in there kind of walking it up. But guys, I'll tell you what, man, we're very excited to be here with you. And by the way, we just posted it today. Check out our 2021 preview show. So many big things coming your way from the UFC this year, but just like last year, and it was a year ago yesterday, I literally told one of the UFC staffers, and I don't want to say his name, I love the dude, but I told him at the press conference, and I think I've told our MMA Weekly guys this story, and I know I've told it on some of my shows before, but I'll say this, okay? I told the UFC staffer, and they have people who walk around and hand us the microphones to ask questions at the press conference. And, sometimes they kind of like play favorites and they'll give them to whoever they want to give them to. And then you get people like John Morgan who will ask 47 questions in a row and leave no questions for anybody else. It's like, dude, 1 plus a follow-up. Come on, or 1 per guy, maybe a follow-up. Let's just not make this about you and this is not a one-on-one interview. So anyway, you're waiting and you start to sweat. So I told the UFC staffer before the event started, I said, look, man, and this is a year ago yesterday. I said, you got 2 choices. I said, I'm making a name for myself today, one way or another. So you either hand me that mic so I can do it the right way, or I tackle you on international TV with 20 million people watching, beat the hell out of you with it, stand over your carcass and ask my questions that way. You choose. And he kind of looked at me like, wow, I don't know if this dude's serious or not. I was actually pretty damn serious at that point in time. So anyway, long story short, I get the mic. I ask my 3 questions to Conor, Cowboy Cerrone, and Dana. Really kind of put me on the map to start the year. And my question to Dana White was very simple. Hey, Dana, January is usually a very slow month for you. How amazing is it for you to start the year with the cash cow that is Conor McGregor and hit the ground running that way in what is notoriously in the whole entire sport a slow month? Usually on the local and regional level is because fighters are lazy, they're fat, they're out of shape from the holidays, they don't have their medicals done. It's hard to get everything licensed and ready to go with the commissions, right? No, that's not what happened here. Conor McGregor and the UFC really hit the ground running in January. And then, of course, right after Izzy and Yoel in March, on March 7th, is when the world shut down from coronavirus. But this year, same deal. Here, the UFC, and we thought we were going to see Conor McGregor 3-4 times last year, but with no fans, with COVID, we did not see. And Jeff and I talked about this in our year in review, or our preview show, 2021 preview show, how the champions and the biggest fighters didn't fight as many times in 2020. And look, you don't have the gate, you don't have the fans, and so you don't see them as much. But when you look at 2021, and we do think we'll see fans again this year for sure. We see them right now in Abu Dhabi. How much do you think they sold those? You need the oil money to afford those seats. 2,000 seats in an 18,000 seat arena. That's what's up with the UFC today in Abu Dhabi on Fight Island. But listen, when you're talking about fans coming back and the live gate, that's what you want for a guy like Conor McGregor. I just literally think right now that we're lucky to see Conor McGregor, and that's going to be awesome. There will be fans in there for Conor McGregor's fight. There'll be some. I don't know about the drunken Irish army that invades Vegas every time. I don't know how they'd be received in Abu Dhabi. But listen, Conor McGregor to start the year a week later. Their first fights today on ABC TV. So if you're the UFC, you start today on ABC TV with Holloway and Kattar. That's how you start it, right? Holloway and Kattar on ABC TV, and then you hit the ground running. You got Chiesa and Magny. It was supposed to be Edwards and Khamzat, which is going to now be later in March. But number 1, Max Holloway. Number 6, Calvin Kattar in the featherweight division. I thought Max beat Volkanovski last time out and should have his belt back, but he didn't. Now it's going to be Brian Ortega. That's announced there in the featherweight division. But one of the things that Jeff and I were talking about in our 2021 preview show is pretty simple. How many belts will change hands this year? Will Khabib fight again? How many times will we see Conor McGregor? All these things, unbelievable, right, with the UFC. But starting the year on network TV, and we're very excited about that. And we want to, welcome all you guys on the chat. We got like 100+ people in the chat already. They're saying today will be a draw. I don't know. We'll give maybe we'll give a preview, but there is this show is on free TV. It's on ABC TV. It's on ESPN Plus. If you have a subscription to ESPN Plus, do that. I'm trying to read the chat as I'm doing this here. I did not see Dana White and Khabib. They were supposed to open the show. They're supposed to open the show with an announcement, and I did not see it. So if anyone saw it, throw it up in the chat. But it was supposed to be, we were working through some things here on our end, and I did not see whether or not there is an announcement made already, but I don't see it. I'm looking right here. Trending. Khabib's not trending. Nothing's trending. Maybe it'll be right before the main event. I do not know, but it would be everywhere, right? I mean, obviously, if I had seen it, and I don't have to be in a rush here. We're on all day. I don't know what I'm in such a rush for. I definitely am fired up for sure. And where is this? Dana White teases the outcome of his conversation with Khabib. Let's see what Dana said there. I'm playing some news here. Hopefully, don't get myself sued. All right, here's Dana White. He's making the announcement right now. Okay, thankfully. All right, there you go. So here we go. John Anik, who does a fantastic job with Dana. Tough spot for John Anik to be in. They're telling him what to say. Look, nice jacket, Dana, by the way. Here it comes, Dana White's announcement. Dana's talking about the meeting right now. He said his father had passed away while he was training. Rash decision. Emotional. He said there was no reason to make a decision that quickly, type of deal. Dana's looking jacked. Dana's on ABC TV talking about the meeting with Khabib right now. He's accomplished everything he's wanted in the sport. Thought that Oliveira looked really good. Can't play the audio, guys. Sorry. We don't own the rights. He said he would never tie up the division. Khabib's not that dude. What a great dude, by the way, Khabib is. Okay. He wants to see McGregor, Poirier show him something spectacular. if somebody delivers on the co-main or the main, which would be Chandler, Hooker, Poirier, and Conor. Hold on. He's not fighting Oliveira on his 30th fight. He said if they do something special, if any of the 4 guys do something special, Khabib will fight them. No real announcement here. Yeah, so really not much of an announcement. I thought for sure we'd get the comeback. We'd get the comeback announcement. Khabib's not out there with Dana. Dana's announcement is really not an announcement at all. I mean, I honestly speaking, I don't understand why you go on ABC TV with that. I think maybe Dana was expecting a different outcome. I mean, this is network TV, and we got Joaquin Buckley and Alessio DiCirico. I hope I said that right. I need John Anik to help me out with that pronunciation as we go live here. But guys, not much of an announcement. What do you guys think of that? Hit us up on the chat. I mean, let's kick it. Let's talk back and forth here about this because I just don't understand going on network TV and teasing this huge announcement and then not really making an announcement at all. And look, I mean, far be it for me to rip anyone here, but guys, I was expecting Dana White and Khabib to say Khabib will come back for one more fight. We don't know if it'll be GSP. We don't know if it'll be the winner of McGregor Poirier. I guess now Chandler and Hooker are in that mix if anybody does anything spectacular. Look, I don't think Khabib's last fight's going to be against anybody except Conor McGregor or maybe George St. Pierre, but I also don't think Dana would let it be against George St. Pierre. I really don't. I really don't. I'm not really sure. Trust me, Ian says, trust me, that means he'll fight again. Khabib said Conor versus Poirier, show me something special, make me come back. But look, if you're Nurmagomedov and you're 29-0 and your dad wanted you to go 30-0, but you promised your mom you wouldn't fight again without your father, I'm going on my father's promise. I'm going with the promise that I made to my father, not the promise that I made to my mother. I mean, listen to me, analyzing what Khabib would do with his father or his mother. But that's what we're reducing ourselves to here today on the heels of this announcement that wasn't really an announcement. I mean, this was not really an announcement. But if anybody shows anything, basically, here's the translation. Okay, guys, I'm just going to give it to you straight. Let me turn this damn audio down in my ear here. I'm going to tell you what. The announcement basically was this. And this is what you can read into it. And hit us up on the chat and let me know what you're thinking of this, guys. But I'll tell you this right now, okay? Basically, what that announcement from Dana White just told you and told me is Khabib will come back and fight Conor McGregor if Conor knocks out Dustin Poirier. That's the way I see it. If Conor destroys Dustin Poirier, runs right through him, knocks him out, there will be Khabib's final fight. If Poirier wins, I don't think it's going to be Khabib fighting Poirier. If Chandler or Hooker, throw them in there. Dana's a promoter. He's going to tell you what you want to hear to keep you on the edge of your seat. Same reason we waited for this announcement that wasn't an announcement. We waited for the non-announcement. And it was a little bit of an announcement to say that if anybody shows him something special, he'll fight again. Look, Khabib doesn't need the money, but he wants that 30. He wants that undefeated record. He wants to be known as the greatest of all time. And if he submits Conor McGregor or finishes him again, obviously that would be it. But where's the sizzle with this fight? What's the reason for Khabib? He's got his own promotion. The money will help, and he doesn't do it for the money, but look, he's doing his own fight promotion. He's got his own businesses. The only thing that makes sense, if Dana will not authorize and agree to the Georges St. Pierre fight, it'll be Conor McGregor. And that's it. That's what you can read into that announcement that we just saw. If Conor McGregor knocks out Poirier, it'll be Khabib Conor 2. Any other outcome to that fight, Khabib rides off in the sunset. He's gone, and the rest of the division, which, by the way, is stacked. Check out our 2021 preview show talking about that division. It means Khabib is open to fight, and that's what we want. But everybody's open to fight? Of course he's open to fight, guys. I appreciate that. But, man, it's, Ayub says Khabib meets Dana. That means he will fight for conditions. It won't fight why he meets Dana. Yeah, exactly. If he won't fight, why would he meet Dana? Look, they walked in the room. They made a big deal of it. They had the announcement right now. And at the end of the day, guys, he'll come back and fight Conor McGregor, but he's going to make Conor sweat it out. He's going to make Conor run through Poirier. That's what I'm telling you right now. You will see Khabib fight again if it's against Conor McGregor, if Conor McGregor quote unquote, does enough to impress him. If Conor McGregor and Poirier have a slugfest for 5 rounds and it ends up where McGregor outlasts him and wins the fight, maybe that gets it done. Obviously, if it's anything like the first fight, McGregor Poirier won, then you'll see Conor versus Khabib. But literally at the end of the day, guys, that's all this announcement was. And this is what I talked with our MMA Weekly team before this fight card. I said, look, here's what's going to happen. It'll be GSP or Conor. Probably never going to be GSP. Dana doesn't want Khabib and GSP fighting a one-off and just, that would be Khabib's wish list, whatever. Go grapple him in a charity event somewhere sometime. Do that. Wrestle him. Do whatever. But at the end of the day, man, it's going to be Khabib Conor 2. It'll be the biggest fight in the history of combat sports, just like the first one. So if Conor McGregor destroys Dustin Poirier, and that's the way I see it right now, right? The real Birdman says, hashtag Holloway, let's go, Fight Island 2021. Ian McGranahan says, Khabib never wanted to fight Conor again, doesn't want to go through all that again. And now, man, you think Conor was loud last time. He's already saying he's ducking him and squirreling away. Brian Joseph says, Dana said that he could see Khabib fight the winner of Conor and Poirier, depending on how this goes. That tells me Khabib will not fight Conor. He will fight Poirier, retire, then fight GSP. No, Brian. You're missing the whole point here. No, he's not going to fight Poirier again. There's no reason for Khabib to fight Poirier again. He likes him. They get along. There's no sizzle. I love Dustin Poirier. Trust me, I do. He's a fighter's fighter. He's a great fighter. He's a champion on some level. But the only fight that makes any sense to anyone following this whole saga is Khabib and Conor McGregor 2. It's the biggest fight in the history of the UFC. It's the one that keeps Dana White awake at night. It's the one that all of us are waiting for this year. And it's going to be, at the end of the day, I think, and again, watch the 2021 preview show with Jeff Kane and me, Allegiant Stadium in Vegas or Jerry's World in Dallas. I think Allegiant Stadium. And you see Conor, Khabib 2, and maybe like a John Jones and a Stipe, maybe 3 super fights on the same card. That would be the dream come true right there. Maybe Valentina, Amanda 3, who knows, right? Maybe, as I said on the preview show, Weili and Valentina, that would be awesome. Meanwhile, Joaquin Buckley, ready to get back, and they're just showing that spinning reverse heel kick that he did on Impa Kasangare. But Alessio Di Chirico Manzo is his opponent, and we got a fight card here today. And yeah, Ian, you got it. He says, thanks for doing the live stream, playa. And I am definitely, I'm down to be called a playa. I'm going to be, and as long as it's like with the A on the end of it, I'm going to be 49 tomorrow. I'm feeling good, feeling young. I'm training every day, boxing every day. I'm working with MMA Weekly. We're ready to explode this year, guys. Just so you know, right? MMA Weekly is OG in this game with Scott and the late, great Ryan Bennett. Just really did amazing things for years. Jeff Kane's been there from the beginning. Ken Pishna, our editor-in-chief. They brought me on last year, and they wanted me to do a lot of content like this, a lot of interviews, a lot of hosting. And, I felt like MMA Weekly was a big part of the end of the year for me, and going into 2021, feeling like I'm in the right place with the right people. We have a great team, and we're going to be bringing you live weigh-in shows, post-fight shows, live streams during the fights, interviews. I mean, we are stepping up our game to bring you the very best MMA coverage that you're going to see anywhere. And of course, you know me, I'm sort of a UFC snob, but I'm excited. I'm very excited. So, keep the comments coming in the chat. The audience is growing and building as we go. We're going to be boosting these. We're going to be doing a heavy presence on Facebook Watch, Instagram, a whole new presentation of our product in 2021 right here on MMA Weekly. And we're awaiting the arrival of one Jeff Kane coming up here soon. He's doing the write-up on the non-story. Hey, big announcement. Not really. He's open to fight. Yeah, open. That's cool. Awesome. And I would say this. I know the way things go in this business really well. Look, I mean, it's not my first rodeo, so to speak. I've been around 26 years. I've covered every sport from Super Bowls to NBA Finals, scoops, exclusive. I know how things work behind the scenes. Dana's big announcement that he was teasing was not an announcement. I think he was hoping for more. I think he was hoping to have Khabib out there with him. I think he was hoping that Khabib would say he'll fight the winner of Conor Poirier. But I believe it'll only be Conor. I believe Khabib wants to kill Conor McGregor. I believe he wants to rip his head off. I believe he would never stop if he weren't in an octagon, and it would be like a 15th century battlefield, and he would hold up his head at the end. I believe he wants to destroy Conor McGregor again. Deep down inside, he just wants it to end somewhere, sometime with his dad. They had the conversation where he said, hey, if you ever get the chance, just destroy this dude one more time. And I believe that he believes he can. I believe that he believes he will. Brian Joseph says Poirier would deserve the title fight if he wins. Just saying, yeah, he deserves a title fight, but he does not deserve necessarily to be that huge Khabib fight. That would be 30-0, riding off into the sunset type of deal. This is drama. This is sports. This is promotion. This is a soap opera. This is money. This is entertainment. It's not about who the best fighters are all the time, guys. It's about money. It's about fans. It's about pay-per-view buys. It's about the sizzle, the marketing, the promotions, how Khabib can build his own promotion. Think about that. Maybe he doesn't want the money as much, and Dana's so much said that. Huge money always talks, but the publicity, building his own promotion, doing things for younger fighters back home, those are the types of things. And don't think Dana White didn't hit every one of those angles a million times getting ready for this meeting and doing this meeting. Dana's the best in the world for a reason, right? So you think about this. Conor Khabib 2, done deal if Conor wins big next week. If Conor squeaks it out, maybe knockout or a dominating performance or a 5-round slugfest, Conor ends up winning. It's going to be Conor Khabib 2. Or hold on, correction, Khabib Conor 2. I'm trying to get the Khabib. I got to get that right. Nurmagomedov. But I'm telling you what, and thank you, Brian. He says, great stream. And we appreciate you guys. We do it for you guys. We love you as the fans of mixed martial arts, and I'm very excited. Look, there's Raging Al with Joe Rogan. Bro, you don't look like you're 49 at all. What is your secret? Thank you, Muhammad. Oh, and thank you to the MMA Weekly production team for throwing that up there for me. The reason I don't look 49 is because I'm a child. I don't act my age. I'll never act my age. I still think I'm a kid. I act like a kid. I conduct myself completely, like on the same level as my 3 kids. I work out every day. I box. I lift. I eat right. I don't drink hardly at all anymore. And that's a big part of it. But I think the biggest thing is just doing what I love to do and working in the toy department of life for years. One of my favorite achievements in my career is that I'm one guy who's interviewed Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and LeBron James. I've interviewed, you name them, from Dan Marino all the way on through. And I fell in love with the fight game about 10 years ago, doing a show with Ryan Bader and Aaron Simpson. First MMA show on a major sports station in America. And I said major sports station before some of my friends who did them before me. I said major, and I'm talking about, major, like the #1 sports station in a major market. And we were the first one. And so from there, it's just been 10 years of, working on the local shows and the regional shows, doing play-by-play. Made my debut on UFC Fight Pass with Ryan Quinn last January, a teammate of Dustin Poirier's, by the way. And I got to maybe set up an interview with Ryan Quinn this week for Conor McGregor. So who doesn't want to see, I love Dustin Poirier, but who doesn't want to see Conor destroy Poirier? And then at the top of the division, you have Khabib and Conor. All these people talking about Michael Chandler coming in. Bell, look, just talk to Pitbull about that. Michael got knocked out last year by Patricio Pitbull, and I love Mike Chandler. I love him. He's a good friend of mine through Sean Charles, his old college wrestling coach. Sean Charles, one of my best buddies, former Arizona State Sun Devil wrestling coach. Very close with Mike Chandler and Tyron Woodley and all those guys. And I no disrespect. Mike Chandler does not belong at the top of the UFC's 155-pound division. Justin Gaethje got dominated by Khabib. Poirier got dominated by Khabib. That division, Khabib has run through it for the most part. Ferguson's been destroyed twice in a row by Gaethje and Oliveira. Khabib and Oliveira is, to me, a boring fight. Who's going to pay huge money to see Khabib and Oliveira? No disrespect. You're comparing apples to oranges here. You're comparing the best fights and the best fighters, or the ones that are going to sell the best and have the most appeal to the fans. It's only McGregor and Khabib. Everyone says they're rooting for Conor. Man, we got a lot of comments on the chat to get through here. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, stayed retired, this type of thing. Conor versus Khabib 2 is going to be dope. Khabib can't be beaten. And here's one from Captain Monster. Khabib never fought the best yet. And I agree with that, because he did not fight McGregor at his best, and he didn't fight Tony Ferguson in his prime. I think Khabib's record, although he's undefeated and although he's dominated people, I think there's a little bit of a yeah, but on there. I really do. I think that quote-unquote title fight against Raging Al when Holloway couldn't make weight, I think all those things factored in winning the belt against Raging Al, who would never have been in a title fight. So I'm getting myself in all kinds of trouble here. Fighters are going to think I'm disrespecting them, but that's not what it's all about. I'm being real with you and asking you, what do you want to see? Do you guys really want to see Khabib and Poirier again? Philip, the chat. Let me know. If you want to see Khabib and Poirier too, let me know. But I think it's literally 1,000,000 to 1. Everyone wants to see Conor McGregor. Everyone wants to see him either knock Khabib out and retake his place at the top of the sport, or get his ass choked out or knocked out again. He's one of those guys. You either want to see him dominate or get dominated. He's not like a Floyd Mayweather where most of you want to see him lose. I'd say it's pretty close, to like maybe 60-40. People want to see Conor win. The announcement, guys, Perksta, hey, the announcement was that there was no announcement. Khabib is open to fighting again. He wants everybody to show him something. Dana said Khabib doesn't need money at all, says he's set for life. He loves to fight. Yes, Ian, you're right. But being set for life is one thing. Building your own promotion, raising tens of millions of dollars to help people train and live and is other. Family, that's one thing. When you can create an impact and a legacy that goes so far above and beyond the fight game, that's a whole entirely different thing there. And I love that hat, man. I forget what it's called. Someone put it in the chat for me. Joe loves it. I met Mini Khabib in Vegas last March for the press conference, and had a chance to talk to her. What a great girl. She's got one of those hats. So let's see. What do we got? Barack Putin. That's the best chat name ever. Barack Putin. Every MMA fighter is in it for the money. That is literally one of the stupidest things I've ever read in my entire life, because MMA fighters don't make any money. Only the top level fighters do. And Buckley just got crushed and finished. Wow, Joaquin Buckley. So much for that hype train. Good God in heaven. He just got blasted. Woo! Man, this is fun. We got to do this more often, guys. We got to do this more often. Alessio Di Chirico just blasted Joaquin Buckley into next month. I still don't think he knows where he is. It's a high kick. Wow. And so I'm gonna recap this for you here. Everybody's still talking about Khabib. Someone says you look like you're 75. I love it. Thank you, King Makisak. I look like I'm 75. Well, I'd be the best looking 75-year-old you've ever seen. Oh, Buckley got blasted on the temple with a high kick. How do you leave yourself open for that? What was he ducking down for? Oh, it looked like he might have been going in for a takedown on a single leg on the right leg, and he gets blasted with the high kick. He was changing levels oh, man, Buckley. Wow. Wow. Oh, I'm looking at DC. I love DC's KO face. Whenever there's a big finish, DC. I love Daniel Cormier. I pissed him off last year in the summer, by the way. I literally pissed him off. I have not interviewed Anthony Davis, though. Yeah, QPRFC. No, I haven't interviewed the Brow. I'm a Laker fan who's not a big LeBron guy or an AD guy, by the way. So Joaquin Buckley's hype train gets slammed here, and that's a great finish. I mean, right there, there's KO of the night written all over it. But I'll say this. I pissed DC off last summer at the press conference for he and Stipe. I said, DC, no disrespect. I actually didn't say no disrespect first. I just asked him, I said, what would it be like to you, and how much are you trying to avoid saying, hey, DC, all-time greatest light heavyweight, but John Jones. DC, all-time greatest heavyweight, but Stipe. And those are two guys who had his number. And he said it would suck that they had his number, but he wouldn't have been the greatest heavyweight of all time, even with a win there. I wish we could have seen Stipe and Prime Kane. I wish we could have seen Khabib and Ferguson in their primes fighting one another. I want to see the best version of Conor McGregor fight the best version of Khabib. I want to see Conor fight Gaethje. I want to see Conor fight Michael Chandler. I want to see Conor fight Dan Hooker. I want to see Conor fight anyone. I want to see him fight a guy in a bar. But I'll say this. That division is so freaking stacked. Jeff and I talk about this. And again, go to MMA Weekly. You're on the YouTube already. Check out the 2021 preview show, guys. We talk about all this. The 155 division is stacked and jacked. Oliveira looks like he's going to crush everyone. What's going to become of El Kakui, Tony Ferguson, after two horrible losses in a row? What about Justin Gaethje? How does he bounce back? What about Michael Chandler coming in to the UFC? Where does Hooker go after that war with Poirier? What happens with Conor and Poirier after this fight? Rafael Dos Anjos at number 7, a former champion, has looked pretty good lately. That big win over Paul Felder. Let's see. If Conor wins, he deserves to win. Khabib would win over GSP and Tony. Yeah, pretty much. Let's see. When is the announcement, please? It was already made. There wasn't really one. Conor won't make Khabib sweat. Conor won a round last time. Conor will smoke him. Not sure about that, although the best version. People forget Connor's a pretty high level brown belt. His grappling's better than people thought. He did a pretty decent job in that last fight. Could be better. Again, admittedly, people talked about the partying and him not being ready and him not taking it as serious. Look, that's all in a way smoke and mirrors, guys. Oliveira will tire Khabib the most. That's a good fight. I want to see those guys fight. I think I'm in the minority there. I don't think it would do big numbers at all, but I do want to see Khabib and Oliveira fight. But don't get your hopes up. You're never going to see it. Connor now is for real as opposed to before. I don't know, guys. Let's see. Oh my God, Buckley knocked out by a high kick. Let's see. It's funny how some nobody try to look smart just repeating Tony's words. I don't know if that's shot at me, but I am a nobody and I am trying to look smart. So you're right. 2 for 2 there. Let's see. If the Conor McGregor from the Alvarez fight fought Khabib, he would smoke him. Maybe. Conor isn't strong enough for Poirier, much less Khabib. Rebecca, Conor smoked Poirier. First time. They're different fighters now. You look awesome. Best to knock people out with your voice. Ha, thank you guys. Appreciate that. 49 years young tomorrow. I think he was eating leg kicks, but he went high way too high. He was blocking leg kicks. Who do you want to win in Khabib versus Conor 2? I just want to see the best possible fight, honestly speaking. I think it'd be great for Conor to win, and then there'd be a trilogy maybe, because once the O's gone, like, we'll see. Let's see. Barack Putin. I can't get enough of that. Someone's talking about Conor developing a heavy. Oh, come on, guys. You don't know about Conor's addiction. If Jones and Stipe fight, who do you think would win? Mitchell Glass. And then Algo Maga up there on the screen. You know what? I lost that one. You guys could throw that back up for a second. You know what? I want to see Conor tap again. McTapper, as they were calling him. Yeah, we'll see. But I'll tell you what, guys. If Mitchell Glass wants to know, last one that just came up in the chat, guys, if you want to throw it up on the screen. If not, I'll just read it. If Jones and Stipe fight, who do you think will win? I think Stipe is a bad matchup for John Jones. I think he's a bad matchup for everyone he fights. But I think for John Jones in particular, Stipe's huge. He's not easy to take down. DC had a lot of trouble with Stipe's strength in that last fight. The double underhooks, walking up to the cage. That being said, the speed, the athleticism, the fight IQ of John Jones is second to none, even though Cormier's is phenomenal too. Stipe and Jones at heavyweight. Have you seen John Jones, man? He's not losing any of the athleticism. He looks jacked, and he looks ready to compete at heavyweight. I don't want to see Stipe versus Francis first, although that fight's been booked in March, if you saw the announcement. I think the only fight to make would have been Jones versus Stipe, heavyweight GOAT, light heavyweight GOAT. If one of them loses first, that loses a lot of sizzle, that fight. It loses a lot of sizzle, although Stipe's already lost. But if he loses the belt, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just one of those things. So I right now would lean toward John Jones, just because I believe as a competitor, he always finds a way. Whether it was the Gustafsson fight, whether it was the Reyes fight, he always finds a way to get the job done and end up with the W. So I would lean a little bit toward Jones, but maybe like literally 52-48. You know, that would be the way I would see. Barack says if Jones returns to his roots, he'll smoke Stipe. Muhammad says, I don't see how Conor would beat Khabib at all. Conor only has good arms, but it is impossible to knock out Khabib. No, Conor's kicks are good. Conor's takedown defense is pretty good. Hold on one second, guys. Give you the result here. 212, first round. By knockout. Alessio Di Tarico. So a big win for him, man. And now he's going to get the John Anik interview. John Anik working hard. And I have a lot of respect for John Anik. I'm a good buddy of Mike Goldberg's, and I thought what they did to him was bad, but John's done a really good job. And all you can do as a play-by-play guy is step in when your number's called and do the job. Although I'm not a fan of the Caterpillar stash. The stash without the beard, I'm not a fan of this. Let's see. Conor only has good arms. No, Conor's got a lot more than that, man. Did you not see the shoulders? Did you not see the kicks, the knees against Cowboy Cerrone? And he made a very good fighter and one of the greatest veterans to ever step foot in the octagon look like he wasn't even fighting in that fight against Cowboy. So a focused Conor McGregor at his best for sure, is something that we all want to see. And look, it's all speculation right now. And look, Dustin Poirier, completely different fighter than he was the first time he fought Conor McGregor. So anyone who's just expecting Conor to run through Poirier like he did the first time, Like Judas Priest says, you got another thing coming. Or maybe he does. Maybe it's a focus. Maybe Conor really is this great when he's on his game, but we will see. I do know this. The UFC, much better off with Conor McGregor. Fight fans the world over, much better off with Conor McGregor. He's talking about boxing, Manny Pacquiao. Please don't box anymore, Conor. You're not a boxer. You're an MMA fighter, man. You're a mixed martial artist. Hard to turn down that cash. Let's see. Alex Picardi. Dustin Poirier will beat Conor McGregor. Alex Picardi, I believe that's my buddy watching back in Connecticut with Uncle Jeff or Dad Jeff. I don't know which one is if it's my buddy Jeff's son or nephew, but shout out to Jeff Picardi, buddy of mine watching back home, and his kids there with him. But Captain Monster says, and he put it in all caps, so maybe Captain Monster, mission accomplished. You put it in all much to be on the chat. I'm gonna read it, dude. I think Khabib is fake. He makes homeless people do push-ups, and he is a scared rat. That's what we're talking about in the chat room right there. Has the Khabib announcement been made yet? Yes, it has. Silicone Productions. He is open to fight again. He wants those guys at the top of the fight card next week to show him something for him to do it. Will Khabib versus Conor going to happen? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Captain Monster follows it up with Khabib runs in the fight and got a lucky shot. All right. So will I stream the fight here? No, can't stream the fight here. There's a little thing called rights that ABC and ESPN pays a shit ton of money to be able to do. So no, not going to happen right there. But guys, Barack Putin says, I fear that Conor versus Dustin 2 may be fixed. Interesting. What would ever make you think a fight would be fixed? Never. Oh, come on, guys. It's not going to happen. Dustin Poirier, listen, Dustin Poirier is about as much of a fighter's fighter as you're ever going to find. This guy's got 1 million fights in his career. Down at American Top Team, he and Masvidal. I mean, just fighters, grizzled veteran, been through all the wars, been in the game a super long time. He is training to kill Conor McGregor next week. That is going to be, I think, one of the best fights you've ever seen. Now, will Poirier look to take him down and do grappling? Remember, Poirier almost submitted Khabib. Let's not forget that on Fight Island, which was not Fight Island yet in Abu Dhabi. Before it was Fight Island. So we'll see. Everyone wants to see Conor be a champ again. Maybe. I don't think everyone. A lot of people don't. Irish fans and Islamophobes do. That's pretty funny. That's Islamophobes. Yep. So I want to see that fight in Russia. Look, I think what's going to happen, and you bring up a great point. Captain Monster says Khabib versus Conor 2 in Russian. Amazing. But in Russia, I think is what you mean. That is what this, to me, is all about. If Khabib can fight Conor McGregor again in Russia, think about that. That's what he'll do. It's going to have to be in Russia. If I'm Khabib, I'm like, it'll only be Conor. It'll only be in Russia. Period. Point blank, end of story. I believe that was what happened in the meeting yesterday. I believe that's what Khabib said to Dana White. I don't believe Poirier has a chance to fight Khabib again. Just my own personal thoughts. Don't shoot the messenger. That was the meeting. I'll fight Conor again. I'll only fight him in Russia. That'll be the only fight I take other than maybe GSP. Dana's like, forget the GSP thing. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, people are saying Oliveira is boring. It sucks when greatness is boring. It really does. I mean, but Tim Duncan was boring, right? How boring was Tim Duncan? Tim Duncan was boring to watch. You'd rather watch Shaq dunk 5 people through the rim at once. You'd rather watch Kevin Garnett. But Tim Duncan got it done, man. Oliveira gets it done. The guy, you can't deny his win streak. You can't deny the performance he's been putting on lately. So really, you got it, Captain Monster, anytime. Hey, I'll shout you guys out, man. We're here together. We're having fun. Really appreciate you guys being here with us on MMA Weekly. We're going to do this throughout the year. All 3 shows on Fight Island, even on Wednesday, Chiesa and Magny. By the way, I like Chiesa a lot, and I like Magny a lot. Both really good dudes. Excited to see that fights. Richard Truesdale says, Proper 12. You sound like my buddy Marcus Deegan on the What Happens Here podcast, just drinking Proper 12 throughout it. But I would love to see Conor walk in, strut into the arena in Moscow. I do think it would be a stadium. It'd have to be a stadium in Russia, right? You could fill 10 stadiums with those fans. It's going to be in a stadium. You think the Australian crowds broke records. Dana White is salivating right now, and that's why people think it's going to be fixed. Conor McGregor has to win this fight. He has to violently finish Dustin Poirier to set up this fight with Khabib. It's got to be in Russia. The whole world's going to be watching. It's going to break every record, and it's going to be one of the first fights back with a full stadium full of fans in 2021. Because, hey, if you believe anything Dr. Fauci says anyway, you're insane. But he says, hey, fans, full audiences, maybe by the fall. So let's hear you comment. Nate Diaz, Antonius Katsira says, let's hear you comment. Nate Diaz returned to 155. Is there a story for Conor Nate trilogy? And after Khabib with the winner? Yes. If Conor loses against Poirier or anybody else, if Conor's not in title contention, then that Diaz fight is still a huge moneymaker. It's the trilogy. It's still a giant cash cow for everyone involved. So I believe Conor has to be out of title contention first or be the champ, and Diaz gets the title shot. Only way Diaz really gets a title shot, in my opinion. And so I think, yes, Diaz Conor at 155 would be awesome if indeed there's something on the line there. Otherwise, you probably see that 170 again. But I always wanted to see that fight at 55. But if Conor loses to Poirier or loses again, I don't know. I think that you'll see Conor Diaz 3, but not it. Conor wants Khabib. Look, Conor's the ultimate competitor, man. He wants to avenge that L. He wants Khabib, and Khabib wants to beat him again and again. And in Russia, so much money to be made. Khabib building his promotion, building his business, doing things for his countrymen, helping out the sport the way his father. Think of what his father did for fighters and for people in general in Dagestan. And overall, what Khabib means to not only the Russians, but to the whole entire Muslim world. Think about what he means and what he can do with this money, with this fight. I almost made a comment about Stephen A's world. I don't want anything to do with Stephen A's world. But how did Buckley lose? Head kick, high kick, just right to the side of the dome. He ducked down either to check leg kicks or to maybe go for a takedown, feinting, whatever. Let's see, what do we got here? Reading the chat. If you see my eyes up above the camera, my camera's right below on the screen. So what do we got? I can't believe you people are still riding Conor's nuts, even after he assaulted a young woman and an old man. That's black sheep. Well, I mean, look, nobody's defending what Conor does in his personal life. I've always believed that you draw the line. And this is one of the reasons why when I met John Jones, he told me he respects me, because I literally can separate the two, right? If you're a great athlete and a bad person, I don't give a crap as much about the bad person side. We know everything about the fighters and the athletes now in this world we live in because of social media, because of the news, because we wanted to know what they're doing in their personal lives, whether it's musicians, actors, Hollywood stars. Look, do I care if someone's a bad person when I just want them to be great at what they do? I would prefer they be a great person. I would prefer they be someone who kids can look up to, like a Justin Gaethje, like a Dustin Poirier, and even at times like a Conor. But do I need for them to be good people to appreciate their talents in their sport? Fuck no. No, we're there to watch their performance. We're there to watch their performance. We're here to see how good they are with what they do. We want to see that greatness. Now, with John Jones and the pregnant lady, with Conor McGregor and the old guy, those are pretty awful situations, right? But yes, I would prefer that they didn't happen. But do I need for them to be good people to appreciate their greatness in their craft? No. Does that mean I don't want to see Greg Carty get all of his teeth knocked out and his eyes pushed back into his head? No. But it just means I can still appreciate great talent when I see it. Max Holloway walking in, still got that fluffy hairdo. One of my favorite fighters. I love him. I actually hung out with him one night for a couple hours because this is right before the world shut down last March. And I don't think Max would care if I tell this story. He was playing craps at the Aria, and it was the week of Izzy versus Romero, and it was a couple days after that fight card. And I was like, yo, Blessed Express, what's cracking, baby? And I had interviewed him a few times, and I know Max pretty well, so we got to talking, and just a great dude. Those two fights against Volko were tough on him for sure. I thought he won the last one, but give him credit for fighting Kattar, by the way. Give Max Holloway a lot of credit for fighting Calvin Kattar, because this isn't a fight where Max has a whole hell of a lot to gain. He just wanted to get back in there. He knew T-City was getting the title shot. Brian Ortega, another big fight that's coming up. So pretty excited for all this. Okay, let's see. But I'm not riding Conor's nuts. Make no mistake about it. I'm not riding his nuts. I appreciate greatness when I see it. And if that's what you call riding someone's nuts, then whatever, man. But I just think, look, he's still, he's in the fight game. Everyone wants to see the best version of Conor McGregor moving forward, because like we said, red panty night, every fighter makes more money. When Tiger Woods was on his rise in the late 90s, early 2000s in golf, every single golfer, even the ones who were ripping him, they were all making more money because of Tiger Woods. When you're looking at Brock Lesnar, when you're looking at Kimbo Slice and the viewers he brought to the Ultimate Fighter show, when you're looking at Ronda Rousey, when you're looking at Conor McGregor, it's just better for the sport when that rising tide lifts all boats. Everyone, I asked Conor this, and I got ripped by one of these guys from one of these Australian dudes, and I don't know why I was so angry. I can't remember who he even worked for. He tweeted, "Oh, it must be us to congratulate Conor McGregor for making everybody a lot of money in the press conference and pass yourself off as media." First of all, I never say I'm media because the media is a freaking joke in this day and age. But second of all, okay, that's a legitimate question. Everywhere Conor goes, he drips cash. There's a trickle down effect. Everyone makes more money when Conor McGregor fights. More eyeballs, more ears, better for the sport. That's why we want to see Conor McGregor back in there, right? To defeat Khabib, Conor needs 30 years practice in wrestling, and Jeff Kane's going to be here in just a second. I think we have him here. I just want to read one more. Benjamin says, people forget the fight changed after that overhand. LOL, Khabib would have not won if not that changed his confidence. It was the big, yeah, before that he was a scurrying little rat. But literally that change everything. And wishing everything. He's writing. He's doing triple duty today. He just covered the non-story, the non-announcement from Dana White and Khabib. And I don't know why. Wait a minute. Now I see two Jeff Canes. We're trying to get this whole thing squared out. At least maybe I can hear you. Jeff, you there?
I'm here.
How long have you been sitting there listening to me ramble? I didn't even look.
Just a couple of minutes, man.
Oh, okay. All right. What is that? Hilton Head what? Hilton Head Island. Oh, nice golfing down there. Giant alligators all over the golf.
I didn't even know what I had on. I'll probably put a Grateful Dead patch right over top of that.
Uh-oh. Look at that. We see our faceless producer. Uh-oh. Looks like he's over there on Fight Island. So, Jeff, I don't know what you thought of the announcement that was a non-announcement, but a whole lot of nothing. All it means to me, Jeff, is simple. Khabib will fight again if Conor McGregor beats Poirier and if it's in Russia, and that's it. And I think that he just didn't want to commit until he knows what happens in that fight next week.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a non-announcement. I mean, Khabib left the door slightly open for a return, but he certainly didn't say he was returning. It kind of depends on what all happens in these other fights. I can't see him coming back unless it's a Conor fight, and like you said, unless it's in Russia and on his terms. Yeah, it was just a non-announcement. I don't know why we even had that announcement. Dana should have just said, I had a meeting with Khabib, nothing came from it.
Yeah, I mean, to tease that, to get everybody so excited, to come on and really say nothing. I mean, Dana's a great promoter, but even that is hard to spin. He did the best he could, and I understand they had something. I know you know Dana better than Jeff. You interviewed Dana more times than all the rest of us in this business put together. Dana wanted to have more of an announcement today. Trust me, he wanted it in the worst possible way, but he just didn't have enough to work with from Khabib to even make the announcement that he wanted to make.
Yeah, there's just nothing there, and honestly, if he's going to make an announcement that Khabib's going to return, it's not going to happen today anyway. It's going to happen at the pay-per-view with McGregor and Poirier, right? That's when the announcement's going to come. This was just, he met with Khabib. Khabib seems slightly open to a return, non-committal, but we're going to see. It was kind of an announcement to promote these lightweight matchups that are coming up more than anything about Khabib. It's like Dan Hooker and Michael Chandler are fighting. McGregor and Poirier are fighting, and Khabib may or may not come back if one of them do really well. And Charles Oliveira looked really good. So that was basically the announcement.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I just thought as you were talking, Jeff, maybe that is what Dana wanted. He wanted the whole world to think it was going to be this huge announcement from Khabib. And all he wanted to do is promote the other fighters on the card next weekend. Not that McGregor needs any more promotion, man. I mean, I know the Cerrone fight didn't do the numbers that some people thought it would do. He still did big numbers. But this Poirier fight, and you got Michael Chandler on there against Hooker. What an opportunity to debut for Michael Chandler. What an opportunity for Poirier, because last time he fought Conor, he wasn't top of the world, biggest superstar in the world, McGregor. This is the biggest fight. He's already fought Khabib, but this is the biggest fight of Poirier's life. It's the biggest fight of Michael Chandler's life. The whole world's going to be watching, and Dana maybe just wanted to take this opportunity. Lord forbid a promoter want to do this, to promote.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's Dana is who he is, right? He's a promoter. That's what he does. So he didn't get the announcement from Khabib, so he takes the opportunity to kind of use a tease of an announcement to promote these lightweight matchups that could potentially pull Khabib out of retirement. But if there's an announcement coming, then Khabib's going to be cage side for Poirier and McGregor, right? That's how you do that. He's going to be cage side if he's going to come back, and he's going to get up there and he's going to talk a bunch of madness, and McGregor's going to call him out, or Poirier's going to call him out after the fight. He's going to be sitting there cage side. It's going to be the typical call out scenario that we see after fights. That's if Khabib wants to come back, but the announcement's not going to come today. I was shocked that they were even going to do that. Whenever I got the email saying, "Oh, Dana's going to have a big announcement," I thought, well, hell, for sure Khabib's coming back, right? Or why would we do this? And then the announcement came, and it got me thinking that, if the announcement's coming, the timing's not right now or today anyway. The announcement's going to come in 2 weeks or whenever that fight is.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess it's just a whole, what was that phrase? Much ado about nothing. But,
Yeah.
Dana took the opportunity. They're on network TV for the first time on broadcast TV in 3 years. They're on ABC. Buffer's got this jacket that's killing it. It looks like brown and gray camo in a way. But, Jeff, it's interesting when I think about that announcement that wasn't, and the fight card next week, and the way that we're starting out 2021 on network, broadcast TV today on ABC. Conor McGregor next week. What a great start to the year for the UFC. We talked about this in our 2021 preview show, man, but they're hitting the ground running, and the announcements that have come on the heels of this, the fights that are coming up in February and March, now 2 pay-per-views in March. Stipe and Ngannou's been announced. Ortega and Volko's been announced. It is absolutely insane the way the UFC is kicking off 2021. 3 fights in 1 week, followed by all these huge fights coming up.
Yeah, I mean, that's usually the way it goes. We get a big momentum push in January and February, and then it kind of slows up a little bit, and then we have the International Fight Week, and then it picks up through the rest of the year. We have kind of that down June, month. But so far, the fight cards that they've announced are phenomenal, right? We just got to see who stays on those fight cards.
Yeah, we have to see. I mean, there's so many different things that we have to, pay attention to, and who stay. Usman and Burns and Stipe and Ngannou and Volko and T City. Just some huge fights coming up. And then, of course, Izzy and Blachowicz. There's just so many of them, man. I mean, we're going to see some serious fights and some serious, top guys in the divisions. And that was one of your biggest beefs about 2020, is that we didn't see the top fighters fighting enough. Well, if early 2021 is any indication of how the rest of the year is going to go, we're going to see him a lot more this year.
Yeah, 100%. And now that fans are back in certain places, I anticipate the UFC is gonna put together bigger fight cards, 3 championships on a fight card, 2 on a fight card, because that's why the champions weren't fighting as much, right? It was a COVID era, no fans, revenue was going to be down just because the economy's down and people lost jobs and everything, and so 2021 definitely looking up. So we're already in 2021, right? But it's definitely looking up with the fans. It was weird to see the fans.
Yes, weird to see the fans, and I'll tell you what, man, it was really. And I don't know if you saw Buckley get crushed, by the way, but he got literally crushed.
I
And
did not see
what
exactly what happened, but I saw him laying on the canvas.
So here, and it was a high kick. So here's what I'm gonna say, and I
Ooh.
don't know why we're seeing Max Holloway up there now, but interesting, Jeff. Great comment here, and I love the chat. I've been reading them all day long. Where did it go, Captain Monster? Dana White, thanks for the blue balls. I love it. That's the best one. We just shut down the chat right now. Mic drop. Boom. That was awesome. Dana White, thanks for the blue balls. Pretty much, right?
Yeah, pretty
They're a
much.
little
I
slow.
mean,
Nothing getting emptied right now.
but look, it's the first fight card on ABC. And so to have Dana White, you want Dana on there, right? I mean, at the end of the day, Dana White's the face of the UFC. It's not really a fighter. It's Dana White. Fighters come and go. Dana's been there. So you want Dana on the broadcast. You want an announcement from him. It's the first event on ABC. They delivered in all of that. Just the announcement was kind of flat a little bit. But like I said, that they promoted 3 fights that are coming up that have huge implications in that division. And so we're going to find out in the next few weeks whether or not Khabib's going to step away and give him one of those fights are going to be for an interim championship or the vacant belt, or we're going to see him cage side, in my opinion, at the Conor Poirier fight with the 2 big fights there as the main event and the co-main event. And then you'll see that matchup come together that night. if it's going to come together at all. We'll put it that way. If it's going to come together at all.
Li Jinglong, round 1, 425 by knockout. If you guys didn't see it, man, my stream was a little behind, Jeff. Buckley got knocked out by a head kick, and now what a great story for Ponzinibbio to come back. But that staph infection almost killed him a couple years ago. But now he's back, and he gets welcomed back. Brutal finish at the hands of a game opponent here today.
Yeah, that was kind of the sleeper fight on the card for me, because they kind of had a long layoff, but they were both on winning streaks, and I'm sure that he was ranked before this, right? I mean, he had almost 2 years off, but on his winning streak, he had to be ranked before that long layoff. I don't remember.
And crushed by the leech today.
I know, but it was interesting. It was good to see him back. Both of those guys are guys that needed a win and needed to kind of solidify themselves in those rankings and in that division. And you saw it play out today.
Yeah, pretty crazy. The underdogs.
Lots of finishes on the main card, man.
That's a nice left, though, Jeff. I mean, that's just, he comes with a straight right. Ponzinibbio slips it, and then the left hook. Oh, right on the button. On the jaw. I mean, that's it. And I box every day, or at least I try to, and my hook is terrible. A left hook, as you've seen with Canelo, as you've seen with Garcia recently, as you've seen with so many MMA fighters, a great hook is one of the biggest and best weapons you could ever have as a fighter. And we just saw it again from the leech.
Yeah, I have not seen the replay. So it was a left hook, caught him and just dropped him straight.
Dropped him straight. So AMA says, Jeff, if Conor wins against Dustin, then McGregor needs to defeat Chandler or Oliveira or Gaethje for him to deserve the title fight against Khabib. If not, then it will be Chandler or Dude, put down the crack pipe. Like, what planet are you living? Like, you think Conor has to beat Michael Chandler, who hasn't even fought in the UFC yet? Or Oliveira? I mean, look, Oliveira's on a major role. He doesn't have a name. He doesn't have the sizzle. It's not going to happen, dude. If Conor McGregor defeats Dustin Poirier, the only fight will be one. It'll be one of two things, Jeff. Give me your thoughts on this. Conor McGregor defeats Poirier. One of two things happens. He fights Khabib in a rematch for the belt, or Khabib stays retired and Conor fights for the belt his next fight out. It's that simple. He's Conor McGregor. The rules are different for him. When you make that kind of money for people, you don't play by the same rules. You get opportunities quicker when you can. I mean, look at Chael Sonnen. It is what it is, right? So it's either Khabib 2 or a title fight for Conor with a win over Poirier.
Yeah, Conor's not going to have to win 2 fights to get that. I mean, would most other people? Probably, but not. Conor's the draw. I mean, at the end of the day, Conor's a bigger draw than Khabib. I mean, that's the reality of it. And so you're going to put him now. Khabib is a huge draw, but it's a different segment of society, right? It's not what we in the United States. It's not in the United States. He has a huge following in the Middle East. He has a huge following in Russia, but in the United States, it's Conor McGregor. In Europe, it's Conor McGregor, right? For the most part.
Yeah.
So Conor's going to get the fight if he beats Poirier, which that's a big if right now. They're totally different fighters than they used to be. And so, yeah, he's not going to have to win 2 fights. That's just crazy. That's not understanding promotion. Conor McGregor's the big draw. He's the one. The whole reason why Dana did the announcement and stuff today is to tease that Conor McGregor and Khabib rematch, right? That's the fight. That's the only fight to make. It's the only fight to make, in my opinion. Now, does Khabib want it? That's a legitimate question. Does Khabib give Conor an opportunity to do that? I don't know. If Poirier wins, that's the question for me right now. Is if Conor wins, are we more likely to see Khabib come back and fight Conor? Or if Poirier wins, are we more likely to see Khabib come back and fight Poirier? I think he's more likely to come back and fight Poirier. I think I really do with the language that he's used. Poirier's the one that deserves it, and he's talked about Poirier. Yeah, I don't think
you think he's coming. You think he wants his last fight to be against Dustin Poirier? I've been exactly the opposite with my thought. We can debate this.
Well,
this is a good debate.
If Poirier beats Conor, then Conor's off the table, and so that just leaves Poirier there. And so, yeah, but I don't know that Khabib's going to give Conor an opportunity. That there's so much animosity between those two. If I'm Khabib, I'm not letting Conor McGregor get anywhere near me in the octagon. Period. I've settled
I think
that.
he
I
wants to
settled
hold
it
his head up in the
definitively.
middle of the octagon in Russia like a 15th century battlefield and just hold Connor's head up in the middle of Moscow. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it has to be, and you're talking about Khabib, and the money doesn't matter to him, but the
Mhm.
generational legacy does. What his father
But he's
did for
already got his
fighters
legacy,
in his
right?
homeland does. Right, but he's got his own promotion now, and he can do so much with that money, with that promotion for the fighters in his homeland. And Jeff Black Sheep says these grown men getting excited about other people's accomplishments, sad. Well, yeah, we are excited about what we do. You should try it sometime. I'm sad for you if you don't love what you do, jackass. Literally. I
Well,
mean, come on.
I don't know. I mean, look, it's fine. You know, there's going to be critics out there. It's
I
fine.
am
You
excited.
know, yeah, I'm excited. It's what we do. I mean, that's what sports are all about. I get excited about other people's accomplishments all the time. Last night, I watched the end of Apollo 13 and said, "Hell yeah!" You know, other men's accomplishments. It's just the way
I
it
love
is,
you,
right?
Jeff. I
I mean,
love you for that. That's
but
great.
I don't mind the
Um,
criticism, man. Keep the comments coming, right? Whether they're good
keep
or
the
bad.
comments coming. Let's see. What do you think about Jake Paul versus Connor? Oh my God, no, please. No, 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 no.
See, I'm not.
Man.
I don't follow the Paul brothers that often. How big are they? Like,
No, they're
what
actually
weight
legit
class they fight?
athletes. They can wrestle.
No, but what weight
Logan
class?
Paul's like 40 pounds bigger than Floyd. Jake
Mhm.
Paul is what? What is he like? 170, 175? I think he matches up weight wise, but dude, Connor will kick his ass all over. I mean, it's just, I mean, they're smart. They're smart. I don't have anything against them. I met Logan Paul, hung out with him a little bit in Vegas. My daughter was like literally in tears when I sent her a picture of me with Logan Paul because he was hanging out with Henry Cejudo and Captain Eric Albarracin and Paulo Costa and all them. And it was, when was it? It was, I can't remember which fight card it was. It was in Vegas with fans. I don't remember if it was last March, if it was McGregor Cowboy. I don't remember. But he's a Logan Paul's a big dude, like way bigger than Floyd. Jake Paul's a little smaller than his brother. I never met him. But I'll say this, man, they know how to get themselves publicity and they know, how to get
Yeah.
it going and keep it going. So
Well,
we
see,
got three
I'm
first round
oblivious
KOs
to
to start the main card though, Jeff. Go ahead, Jeff. Sorry.
yeah, yeah. See, I didn't even know that there was two of them until recently. I was like, you know, they kept talking about Paul, Jake Paul, this other. I just thought it was one guy, and then I kind of looked into it a little bit, and I was like, oh wow, they're brothers. There's two of them. There's actually two of them. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't see those fights in an MMA fight. They're not going to beat anybody. You know, I mean, I'll just put that out there. You know, you better go to a smaller promotion. But they're too popular to do that, right? I mean, they're kind of like if they're going to fight MMA, they're kind of like CM Punk, right? Their name's too big to fight in a smaller promotion, so they're going to have to come and fight in the UFC, which means they're going to get a hell of a lot tougher competition than they would be if they were just regular fighters.
It would just be boxing. They just want to box. It's a boxing
No,
match. That's it.
oh
They're
well,
not. They're yeah. So they both fancy themselves boxer, and they're actually not bad. I mean, they're not bad as far as like everyday boxers go. They're not pro level. I mean, but they're definitely pretty decent. They're just not good enough to fight. And I can't believe we're even talking about these guys. But it would be cool to see them both get knocked out in a ring. Trying to challenge pro fighters and give them credit, man. They make a lot of money. They have big balls, and that's what they're doing right now. But
well,
I can't get past Jeff that you think that Khabib is more likely to fight Poirier. You triggered something in my mind there because I just keep thinking the only way he wants to do it is Connor, and that's the line of thinking. Do it in Moscow, huge. But the way Khabib's mind works, he's so respectful and such a good dude. Maybe he really is like telling Dana, "I'm only going to fight Poirier." Interesting, right? So then Dana White's in a position. Who do you root for, Connor or Poirier? I don't know. Like it's
Poirier.
you brought up
Nah,
something
Dana still wants Connor to win. Connor's the draw, right?
interesting.
Khabib can go off in the distance. Conor McGregor's still going to sell tickets. You know, whether Connor fights Khabib or not, he's going to sell tickets. And so you don't need Khabib for Connor. So really. And Khabib
No.
doesn't need Connor for his legacy. He's already beat him and finished him.
Yep.
And so I feel like
Poirier.
Khabib's a different animal. Yeah, I know. Is that I just feel like he's a different animal. He thinks differently than most people. That's why he's Khabib. I don't think that now can Dana talk him into it? That's Dana's job. But I don't really see Khabib all that excited about fighting Conor McGregor again. And it's not because he thinks he can't beat him again or whatever. It's about the opportunity, right? I mean, he doesn't want to give Conor McGregor the opportunity to fight him again. It's almost like he feels like Conor doesn't deserve to be in the ring with him again. Or that's the impression I get.
Poirier, maybe he does if he smashes Poirier. But I did not think of it from that standpoint at all until you brought it up, Jeff. And I love the way your mind's working there. I don't agree with you. I think it's the opposite, but you make a really compelling argument for that other side. What do you guys think? Hit us up in the chat. We got a good audience going today. Nick Pan says Conor versus Oliveira if Conor beats Dustin. Really? No. No. Bad matchup for Conor McGregor. Horrible matchup for Conor McGregor. They're not going to throw him into that matchup unless it's for a belt right away. You're going to have to build up Conor a little bit more. There are a lot of other guys for him to fight in that division. You're not going to throw him in there to get smothered against Oliveira. And I like the way you're thinking, Nick, but I just can't. I can't see that happening, Jeff. That would be, and again, Conor against Oliveira would be the best, night of Oliveira's life financially. But right now, his fighting style, he's not a big name. Khabib versus Oliveira would be a great fight, but no one would care. I mean, I hate you and I would. Fight fans are snobs, and the casuals won't care. They want Conor Khabib too, and that's it.
Yeah, they want Conor Khabib too. But, if Khabib's out, then all these matchups are opened up for Conor McGregor. But also the motivation for Conor McGregor. The fight that Conor McGregor wants is Khabib, period. Right? And so if he beats Dustin and Khabib decides that he's not coming back, we might lose Conor to boxing this year. He's going to get a bigger payday.
He's going to get a bigger payday against Manny Pacquiao, and I wish he would just stop that. But, there's always a negotiation going on, and by the way, real quick, I'm watching a Subway commercial. First of all, they charge a subscription fee, and they have commercials. They're double dipping. But second of all, and I used to work there as a teenager, every time there's a Subway commercial, every time there's a picture on the wall in Subway, they put like 10 times more meat than you actually get when you order one. No Subway sandwich has 46 pieces of turkey. I'm sorry.
None that I've ordered.
No, it's ridiculous, man. I mean, let's just be a little bit real with the advertising here, guys. Come on. Let's see, Jeff, what else do we have in the chat? The audience is going up. I like it. They must and I want to get to a point about Diaz for a minute. Okay, so AMA says, if you think that way, and so the UFC, then I think Khabib will give way for Conor versus Oliveira or Gaethje or Chandler for the vacated title. Khabib may come back later. No, he's not giving way for anybody.
Look, if Khabib's off the table, and Conor beats Poirier, the matchup to make for Conor is Chandler or Hooker stylistically, right? That's the fight that he matches up the best with. Either one of those guys, it's going to be a stand-up fight for the most part.
Conor, yeah.
Oliveira is the worst matchup out of those guys for Conor or any of the other guys. Oliveira is a wild card. He could beat every one of those guys, except for maybe Khabib. And like you mentioned, yeah, and he doesn't have the name value that the other ones have, so that pushes him down the list. Not only is it a tough matchup for all of them, he doesn't carry the name value that the other ones have. And Conor matches up great with everybody else.
He is an exciting fighter.
Oh, right. I would, as a fight fan, a hardcore fan, I would love to see Oliveira and Nurmagomedov hit the ground, right? Khabib and I mean, my God, right? I would also like to see him see if he exposes some of those other guys on the ground. But I don't know. We saw what he did to Tony, and Tony's no slouch on the ground for sure. And so I don't know. I don't feel like people are going to be lined up to fight Charles Oliveira. I'll say that. They're going to be like, I want Chandler, I want Gaethje. Those are the matchups that's going to interest Conor McGregor because stylistically they're going to end in a knockout.
Yeah, and I want to ask you before we get to Carlos Condit and Matt Brown in the flashback fight here for the co-main event. But I love both guys. But I'll say this, man. I had someone in the chat earlier, and I got to get your take on this, Jeff. And the co-main's about to start here. Holloway and Kattar, one fight away. Carlos Condit and Matt Brown. That's two guys who could be part of those cuts. But I mean, look, Matt Brown's got a lot of gray hair. The immortal Carlos Condit, the natural born killer. These guys have all my respect. Flashback fight, as I'm calling it. But someone texted or put in the chat about Diaz. Now, Conor Diaz trilogy, this fight is not affected by anything win or loss wise, Jeff. So Conor Diaz could happen anytime as a trilogy. You said this on the 2021 preview show, and it could make a ton of money. It's still going to have the same sizzle. no matter what, whether it's for any kind of belt or not. So if Conor loses against Poirier, maybe he has one more fight to try to get in title contention, and then after that it's Diaz. But they always know that Conor Diaz fight is there, and it's not affected by wins, losses, or title picture.
Exactly. That fight's always there. You can make that fight 2 years from now, 3 years from now. That's fine. But like I said, if Khabib's out of the picture, then what's Conor's aspirations? What's Conor really? What does he have left to accomplish in mixed martial arts? Does he go after the lightweight title, or does he go after, say, Jorge Masvidal?
The BMF. That would be. I think Conor
and
would
then
light
you set up
like a.
Yeah, I do too. And then that sets up a Diaz BMF title, right?
Man, and yeah, I mean, although why would Diaz get another BMF fight? Because he got destroyed in the BMF fight. Although if that fight would have kept going.
Because Conor has that belt, would have that belt, you know? I don't know. The UFC's got a lot of options with Conor. You know, we're just kind of waiting to see what Khabib's going to do. But the options for Conor are all there. You know, I mean, Gaethje, Chandler. You know, I think that the Jorge Masvidal fight could happen. The Diaz trilogy. There's tons of stuff to do with Conor McGregor. We just got to figure out whether or not Khabib's still an active fighter or not.
Yeah, and then we got Carlos Condit coming up. I mean, he's 3-8 in his last 11. He won against Court McGee, home versus Aldana. That was last year at the Apex. But
so
man,
in the background, that's Conor McGregor. Isn't that where he has the famous lines? Who's that guy? Who the hell is he?
Who the fuck is that guy? And look, there's Cowboy behind him, and he's like, it's red panty night. You had the red panty, and you had the who the fuck is that? Speaking of which, later in the week, Jeff, we're gonna do a show leading up to McGregor and Poirier. It's going to be fun here on MMA Weekly. Top 5 funniest moments from Conor McGregor. And we have the footage, our MMA Weekly archive of footage. That's going to be a fun show. How do you pick 5? Look at every other fighter. They're like disgusted with Conor. I don't know, man. I think it's great.
The best Conor McGregor moment, I'll just put it out there. The best Conor McGregor moment is when Floyd took the flag. And then Conor took his bag and then said it only has $1,000 in it and poured it out on the floor. That
I don't know. I don't know if we have that video. I don't know if we have that.
I bet we do. But I'm telling you, that was the greatest moment for Conor McGregor, man. It was just crazy. Yeah, like Floyd didn't know what to do. Floyd didn't even know what to do.
When have you seen Floyd speechless?
Yeah, and Conor, the whole fact that it only had $1,000 in it when it's money Mayweather is just so gold, right? You can't even write that. And Conor's just over there. Like I said, comedy just fell in Conor's lap that day.
It did, but think about too, like when he took Aldo's belt, when he took Alvarez's belt, he came out in the fur coat. I mean, there's the water bottles with the Diaz brothers. I mean, there's just so many of you see him up there on the Maymac tour. But I think you're right, Jeff. When he took the backpack, he's like, "There's only 1,000."
Yeah, and I like when he tells Floyd, when he tells Floyd, do something to the flag and see what happens. Floyd's face changes, right? Because he realizes we're not in a boxing ring, that this is about to pop off, and I'm going to have to deal with Conor McGregor on a stage. You know, I thought it was a very interesting moment. I felt like Conor definitely won that day. You know,
can you imagine what Conor would do to Floyd if it's not just boxing? I would love to see that.
Well, he would take him down and maul him. I mean, that's what he would do. Stand up with him for a few minutes because Floyd doesn't really have a ton of power, so you don't got to worry about getting one and done shot from him. And so you just take him down and beat the crap out of him, you know, like Randy did James Toney or whoever else. Any boxer that comes over into the UFC that thinks that they're going to not get taken down and pummeled is delusional.
Delusional, absolutely delusional, and that's exactly a great example of what Randy Couture did to Tony. Masvidal versus Covington is better fight, says Captain Monster. He's been great in the chat today. Yeah, it is. I mean, that's a. I'm going to tell you right now, and Jeff agrees with me because we've talked about this before. That's a bad matchup for Masvidal. I mean, I just don't like Masvidal's chances against Colby. I don't. I mean, they know each other really well. They train together. They've been friends. Masvidal knows his chances better than I do, but he also knows it's another money fight, and he's getting older. But I do not like his chances at all against Colby.
No, I don't like his chances at all against Colby. You know, I like Colby's chances against everybody except for the champion, you know, basically. I just Yeah, I think that's a terrible matchup for Masvidal. I think he knows it's a terrible matchup for him. I mean, it's no secret. They train together. They sparred together. They've wrestled. They know who's the better fighter. Period. They don't need it to take place in the octagon in front of millions of people to know who's the better fighter. Um, yeah, it's a terrible matchup for Masvidal. So
No, we're gonna get some.
I'm kind of I'm not sure he
Go
takes
ahead,
that
Jeff.
fight if it's ever minutes.
No, and we're gonna get some answers on February 13th at UFC 258 because Kamaru and Burns, if we can finally get that fight, Hall and Weidman's on that card, some pretty good fights, but that's a big one at UFC 258 at the top of the welterweight division because Usman, Burns, and Colby, any of those guys could be the champ in that division, and I think there's a big drop off, and I love George, I do. I'm sorry, Masvidal, I do, but man, I just those three guys at the top of the division, and everybody wants to rip my guy Tyron Woodley, but those three guys that he lost, I mean, come on. Burns, Usman, and Colby are as good as we've ever seen in that division.
Yeah, the top of that division is tough, man. I mean, the top of that division is a bunch of monsters, but I agree with you. It drops off. I mean, Masvidal is just going to get taken down and controlled by those top guys. That's my opinion on that matchup. Now, could I be wrong? Every round starts standing, so Masvidal has a shot, and there's no quit inning, so you can take him down and beat on him. We start the next round, he's going to come out with a flying knee or some crazy combination. That's what he is. He's a tough out, but I feel like he's a bad matchup for all of those or all of the top three guys in that division are bad matchups for Masvidal, rather.
No, and that's why we're saying it. And any of them have a chance to get baptized. And then, of course, UFC 259 in March, you got Blachowicz and Adesanya, Nunes and Megan Anderson, Peter Yan and Aljamain Sterling. I mean, that's a stacked card. And then we just had the announcement for UFC 260, which is it was originally listed as a fight night, but it's going to be a pay-per-view. You're talking about Stipe and Ngannou on that fight card and Volkanovski and T-City. Meanwhile, Jeff, we got Matt Brown, the Immortal, and we got Carlos Condit, the Natural Born Killer. As a guy who's turning 49 tomorrow, seeing a 36-year-old and a 40-year-old about to throw down in the octagon is just inspiring. And that pre-fight stare from Carlos Condit is one of the best things I've still ever, as a fan, the pre-fight stare of Carlos Condit is one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, man, this is a great matchup. I just wish it would have taken place 5 or 6 years ago. When both guys were in their prime, both of them were still relevant in the division. I have to think that the loser of this fight today goes home, right? Or he loses his contract because they've lost a lot of fights in like their last 10 outings, both of these guys. But they're veterans, man. Legends in that division. A former interim champion and then Matt Brown, man, the Immortal. Well, what can you say? This is a great fight. I just wish it would have taken place sooner, but it didn't. We're getting to see it today.
And just think of, as you look at Matt Brown there, just think of getting a tattoo across your lower abs like that and what that must feel like. I can't even imagine doing that. But, you got Mark Goddard in there. I love Mark. He's a good buddy of mine from when we did IMAF, the World Championships together in 2016. And I was there with the Team USA and the IMAF World Championships at the International Fight Week. Great official. He's in charge of all the rules and regulations for IMAF, but a little extra pressure on a guy like Goddard in a fight like this, knowing that these guys are older and maybe not as able as the younger guys. I mean, I hate to say it, but you got to be a little extra careful in there for their health when they're in there at an older age like this. And they haven't looked good. I mean, Condit's like 3-8 in his last 11, and he beat Corbin McGee.
Yeah. Yeah, and Matt Brown's last 10 fights don't look any better, to be honest with you. But there's not anything on the line, and these guys have been in wars. They're at the tail end of their career, and so I agree. A referee doesn't want this to go too long. This isn't for a title, and so you want to protect them as much, especially this late in their career. But who knows?
Brown got a takedown. He's got Condit up against the cage, takedown. Someone's bleeding. I think Brown's bleeding. But when you've fought this many times, you have all that scar tissue. Like when you watch a Diaz fight, those cuts open up fast.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I can barely watch it because my TV is over there, and so I'm just glancing over there every now and then. But yeah, he took Carlos down. Carlos is good off of his back. We'll see what happens. He definitely wants to keep this fight standing, though, I would think. Or at least he'll be in top position. you know.
Well, no, and this is a tough one. I mean, look, I love both these guys. I mean, Condit, I have just the wars that he's been in, the Lawler fight, just an incredible, incredible fighter. What a G Carlos Condit is. And not that Brown isn't, but I've always been a big Condit guy. He's a nice dude every time I've met him and talked to him. And I know you've known both guys a long time. And this is just something where, you're the guys are getting older. You don't want to see him get hurt. Just kind of like last year in Albuquerque when I saw Diego Sanchez. Like, you just don't, when Lieben was still fighting, you just want to make sure that these guys aren't going to be, literally eating through a straw and not able to say their own name when they're 55 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, there's not anything on the line here. So you want to protect them. I mean, you want a good fight, but you want to protect them. Yeah. I was at Carlos Condit's fight, his coming out party at Rumble on the Rock when he beat Frank Trigg and Ceruto Verissimo. And,
Wow.
Anderson Silva got disqualified for
Rumble
his
on the
kick
Rock.
on the
Wow.
Yeah, Rumble on the
What
Rock.
year is
What year was that? Let me look here real quick. That is 2006. 2006, Rumble on the Rock
dude.
8.
Wow.
But that was kind of Carlos's coming out party, right? I mean, he was an up and comer, but until he knocked out Ceruto Verissimo at that time, everybody, and he did it so quick. Everybody's like, holy crap. And then he beat Frank Trigg in his next fight in that tournament. And then it was Carlos Condit, man. The natural born killer had been unleashed on America. Yeah, man, that's a long time ago, man. That's 15 years ago. 15 years ago.
That's a long time. Long time. And Brown's bleeding everywhere. You got about a minute and a half left in the round. Condit is pretty good off his back, but he's fending off Brown here, and he's landed some shots from his back, but it's been Matt Brown for the most part in this round with a takedown. He was chest to chest with him, stuck that leg behind, got the trip, and threw him down, and they've been up against the cage. Condit's been, as you said, active off his back. He's very good off his back, but what a legend. I'd say Condit's a true legend of the sport. Brown's a veteran, been around a long time. No disrespect, but Condit's an absolute, I think, legend. He's been an interim champ, never a legit champ. I mean, the GSP fight could have gone either way. The Robbie Lawler fight was incredible. Man, just some of the best and biggest wars you've ever seen. But he's in a big time fight right now with Matt Brown, who's still, working top position.
Yeah, I mean, Carlos usually doesn't take a ton of damage off of his back. He's active enough to where he doesn't take a ton of damage. And so he's probably going to get to ride out this round. I do not know. Well, there's 20 seconds left in it on my screen anyway.
Everybody's asking for a link, Jeff, real quick. I just want to let everybody know it's on ESPN Plus. It's on free TV on ABC if you're in the US.
ABC, yeah.
Condit's almost up, Jeff. He's almost up. Nope. Oh, wait. He reversed him. Wow. He reversed him up against the cage with 20 seconds left in the round. Good job by Condit. He was
landed a big right hand
feet.
too, right there at the bell.
Yeah.
Yeah, Condit's a tough out for everybody. He's so well rounded, and just it's kind of deceptive in a way because he comes from weird angles, like that kick that they landed against GSP and about beat GSP. He masks things so well, and then you don't think you're going to get hit, and then you get hit back. I'm a big fan of Carlos Condit, but age, as you've brought up in the past, age is undefeated.
Father time, and I'm learning this the hard way. Although someone earlier told me I look 75, and I thought that was great.
Nice.
75-year-old.
Nice to get compliments. Yeah, it's nice to get compliments.
Nice to get compliments, especially on that birthday. You're feeling old anyway. But I'll say this, man, I'm really excited for the main event on this card. Now, this co-main, I'm not looking, and I'm not. I don't want it to come out the wrong way, but 36-year-old Carlos Condit, 3-8 in his last 11 fights. Matt Brown at 40 years old. I give him all the credit in the world for getting in there. Is it something I necessarily want to see? No. Are they fighting like a 36-year-old and a 40-year-old? Not really. I mean, it's not a bad fight, but when you look at, the guys they've lost to, Brown's losses in his last 10, you were talking about, like he has a win over Tim Means, a win over Sanchez, and a win over Ben Saunders, but his losses are Robbie Lawler, Johnny Hendricks, Damian Maia, Jake Ellenberger, Cowboy Cerrone, and Miguel Baeza. That's a bad loss. And then when you look at Condit, his losses, again, are also to top guys. I mean, Chiesa and Magny, who are the main event on Wednesday, Alex Oliveira, Damian Maia, Robbie Lawler, and Tyron Woodley. So neither guy was really losing to chopped liver. What I'd like to see here, though, Jeff, is how the cut opened up on Matt Brown's forehead. I missed it. If anybody could fill me in, I don't know if you saw it.
I did not see it. I do not know. I imagine
It's a
Carlos is
nasty cut.
deceptive. It's got to be an elbow, right? I mean, Carlos is devastating with those elbows, especially on the inside. But I did not see what cut him open.
Alex Picardi says, I don't look a day over 40. Thank you so much. I'll take that because my ex-girlfriend just turned 40, and I think she thinks I'm too old for her. But if I look her age, then laughs on you.
Yeah, I don't
Sorry,
even
couldn't
want to
resist that
know.
little shot there. Day over 40.
So,
See what happens on a
yeah,
live stream, Jeff? You never know what's going to come out.
yeah. I don't expect any compliments on my youthful appearance, man. There's a lot of mileage on this engine.
It's still running good, though, man. It's still running good.
Yeah, it's still running good, but there's a lot of mileage on this thing. I've abused it. That's what I
Yeah.
thought my
Oh,
body
Condit
was
just
for,
got
right?
dropped by a right hand by Matt Brown. The right hand's been finding a little bit of a home down the middle, straight down the pipe, and he dropped Condit.
And Condit just landed that short elbow. That's what I think probably opened up the cut. He's so good at whenever you try to close the distance, he slips in that little elbow and makes you, walk into it.
Oh, Brown with a nice knee. Yeah, I think you're right. That's great. That elbow has been amazing for Condit in his career. Violent fighter. He just tried to hit him with another elbow, but his slow. Like they're not even coming close to landing. Captain Monster
No, I mean
says the
this is
more older you get, the more wiser.
yeah,
I'll take that. Are you
yeah,
more
I'll take
wise? Are
that
you
too.
wiser?
Maybe, yeah, I'll say that I am. I'm definitely more wise, but I make terrible decisions all the time, they're calculated decisions though.
They're
The funnest
calculated,
times
terrible
you have,
decisions.
the funnest times you have are based off terrible decisions, I mean, or at least that's my experience in life. It was a terrible decision, but I had the time of my life.
I'm
So
pounding waters now, Jeff. That's what I'm doing. I'm pounding waters at my age. I used to
nice.
shotgun beers. I was the beer chugging champion, spring break, 1994. I won 300
So
bucks chugging beer. Now I'm chugging
nice.
water.
Carlos has top position now, so this is kind of the opposite of round one.
Yeah, I think you're a little ahead of some people on the stream. You're ahead of me. Are you watching on
Oh
TV or the stream? You're watching on TV. That's
no,
why.
I'm watching on TV. Yeah, I just
You're ahead.
man, when they're on TV, I feel like I owe it to them to give them a ratings boost. One household that may not have been watching is watching today. I actually have it on inside the house as well.
Wait,
Because
are you one of the ones that measure the 4 people in every market to get their millions?
I do not know. All I know is that the more TVs and households that turn on, the higher the ratings. And so I'm a team player. I turn on all the TVs.
He knows where his bread is buttered, man. So Condit's on top of Brown, just working him, throwing elbows, little punches to the body. He's kind of like split right down the middle. And now he's
Yeah.
looking to get side control, but he's not. Wow, Carlos Condit's doing a good job from top position.
Yeah. Now Carlos usually does delve out a pretty good amount of punishment when he's on top. This, or in my opinion, right now, this looks a lot different than the first round where Carlos was able to stay active on the bottom and avoid taking a lot of damage. Matt Brown's taking a lot of damage here.
Yeah, and those elbows that you mentioned earlier from Condit, and when you're on the bottom and you're having trouble breathing and you're bleeding, and then someone jams their forearm into your throat and holds you there for a second, you're going to keep feeling it. Now Condit jamming that shoulder in. I always love, one of the reasons I love Carlos Condit so much, man, is because he's such an active fighter.
Mhm.
And he just stays so busy throughout the course of a fight, and it's always with violence. It's always with violence. I love Carlos Condit. I mean, I guess I'm a fanboy here at this point for Carlos, but it is
He's
what it
just so
is.
relentless. Yeah, he's so
Mhm.
relentless. It doesn't matter what position. He's trying to do damage no matter where he is in the fight. And I think that's what everybody loves about Carlos Condit, right? It doesn't matter
Yep.
if you beat the crap out of him for 24 minutes, that last minute of the fight, he's still throwing elbows and flying knees and trying to end the fight.
Yeah, and he's scoring a lot of points here on Matt Brown. Just even those little body shots, just over and over again, strikes landed, and now that left elbow buried in the face as we end round number 2. So Carlos Condit and Matt Brown going to go to round number 3. Condit really just dominating round 2 there. That was a
We've
very
got it.
impressive round from Natural Born Killer.
I've got it 1-1, 1-1, which is weird because Carlos won the second round better than Matt Brown won the first round, but it's still 19-19.
Man, I'll tell you what, that's interesting. It's anybody's fight going into the third round. And then we got Max and Kattar. I'm excited for Max and Kattar. I didn't think Max had a lot to gain by taking his fight. And you and I discussed this on our 2021 preview. By the way, check out, it's 45 minutes long. It's on our YouTube right now. MMA Weekly's 2021 preview with myself and Jeff. We really get into what we think will happen, the scenarios in each division. You're not going to see a breakdown like that anywhere else. I can guarantee you that. And literally, unbelievable job by you, Jeff, on that show. People who want to know what 2021 is going to look like in the UFC, make sure you watch our 2021 preview show that's up right now on YouTube. Aloha from Hawaii, says Mike. Kami aloha. And hey, that's Max Holloway territory right there. And
Nice.
I think Max got screwed. I do, in that last Volko fight. Although when I rewatched it, it's funny. You watch a fight and you think like it's clear that one guy won. It's always closer than you thought it was. It's always closer.
Yeah,
I
I
definitely
have a
think
hard time scoring fights live. I have I have in my head who I think won the round, but every time I go back and watch the fight, I see things that I didn't see before. Like, oh wow, he did land a little left hook on the inside that I didn't notice, or wow, that stiff jab might have staggered him a little bit. I didn't notice that live, and then I'll sometimes watch it a third time with the volume completely off, so I don't have to hear any potential bias commentary. Right, I can just watch it and visually decide who won myself. Fights are hard to score, man. I mean, judges get a ton of criticism, but it's a very difficult job. Now, some of them are just incompetent, right? But even people who've watched the sport for a long time are going to differ on some of their scoring.
Man, Carlos throwing kicks and elbows and punches like crazy, high volume, high intensity, landing with some of those kicks. Like he is just, I mean, even still at 36 years old, just a relentless force in there. And, it's pretty cool watching it. And, Matt Brown's a tough dude in his own right. He's trying to fend him off, throwing some knees there. And now Condit, up against the cage, working things. But, man, it's just, again, Carlos' tenacity, the volume, the violence that he, looks to inflict upon people in there and scrambling now to take a back of Matt Brown. But, man, just crazy what Condit does in there. At any age, to have the cardio and to have that kind of tenacity and that kind of output and volume, you got to respect that if you're a fight fan.
Yeah, and Matt Brown's constant. It's constant pressure. That's what makes this fight so good. Carlos has to have this output to kind of keep Matt Brown off of him and to keep him on the outside, because Matt Brown just presses forward no matter what until you force him not to anymore with a shot. Right now, he's in a bad position on the ground, though, it looks like.
And Carlos, yeah, Matt Brown's got a hold of Carlos's foot and ankle there. I think I might be a little behind you, Jeff. So, but
well, I mean, it's not a bad position. Carlos, has his back a little bit. I mean, it's a bad position. He's definitely not where he wants to be, but he's okay for now.
Privet from Russia, says Master Shifu. Yeah, we got people in Russia, people in Hawaii, people overseas. I see somebody posted in Russian. I think it's Russian. I have no idea, but I can't, I can't read Russian. And
I do not have my Google Translate. I do not have my Google Translate.
Carlos. Okay. Wow, sorry, Jeff. I got a little excited there.
It's every time we mention somebody, right? We said Khabib, he's probably going to want to fight in Russia, and then we have Russian people show up in the chat. I mentioned Rebel on the Rock in Hawaii, and then boom, we get Aloha. So where do we want to mention now? I don't know. Guam?
Guam. Oh, salam alaikum from Dubai. Salam alaikum,
there
Captain Monster from Dubai. Aloha, brothers. Let's go, Max. Thank you for coming on. 808 Country. Brian Leone says New York. Yeah, throw it up, guys. Where are you at in the chat room? I'm in Arizona. Jeff's in Kentucky. Our producer, Scott, is in Utah. We got Luke in South Africa. There we go. Look at
Matt
that, Jeff.
Brown he's gotten out of that bad position. Matt Brown has gotten out of the bad position. We'll see what happens
2 minutes left in the fight. He dumped Condit down on his back. I got to stay on the mic here. Bad broadcasting technique, man. Come on, Jim.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting scoring because
it happened with Condit. No, it's in the third round, Dave. Go ahead, Jeff.
It's going to be interesting how they score this, because the first round definitely went to Matt Brown. The second round definitely went to Carlos Condit. Carlos, the first half of this round, had his way. It looks like towards the end of this round, with 90 seconds or whatever to go, you've got Matt Brown in dominant position. This is going to be interesting how they score this fight.
All right, we got Lithuania, we got Turkey, we got Ireland, we got Hawaii, we got Connecticut, my home state, in the house, Estonia, Istanbul, Dubai. Look at this, Jeff Kane. Are you kidding me? Bringing the world together through the sport of
From
mixed
Turkey.
martial arts. It's
I
a
have
Dana's
been to
dream come
Turkey.
true. He's been
I
talking
like
about
it
it for 20 years.
Yeah.
Hello
Yep.
from Germany. Look at
We got a
this.
couple people from Hawaii. Hawaii was one of my favorite. I've been to a lot of places. Hawaii is definitely one of my favorite places I've ever been. The first time I went to Hawaii, I touched the flowers to make sure they were real,
Oh,
because
Condit.
they just don't have that.
Condit picked him up to throw him down and slam him, and he got rolled over. Oh, Condit got up and landed some shots. More from Ireland, Tennessee. We got someone in Mexico,
Estonia.
Nova Scotia, Canada. So if Condit ends up in his back to finish his fight, is this Brown's round? Or, I mean, this is a close round.
Mm-hmm.
Man, ground control time. Matt Brown dominating round 1, and then round 3, pretty close. Condit, I mean, if you're just looking at the ground, but Condit landed so many strikes in this fight. Man, this is tough. Someone says hello from Bashkortostan. Is that a real place? Bashkortostan? Stand him up, Mark. No, it ended. I wish Goddard would have stood him up. He's not going to, but two battered and beaten watching Lena from Massachusetts, all over the world. I'm loving life right now, man. I'm loving life with people all over the world watching us.
It's nice. It's nice. Another from Turkey.
Our numbers are going way up on the street. Yep.
Yeah. So this fight went to decision. We're going to see who. I think Carlos won because he did more damage in that third round when he had dominant position. But I don't know. You know, on a fight like that, you never know how the judges are going to score. You know, you never know.
Striking numbers yet. I have not. Where is Bashkortostan? I don't know. Poland. We have. Oh yeah, we have a Joanna and Blachowicz fan.
There we go.
Took me 5 minutes during an interview to say Jan's name right. What a great dude, Jan Blachowicz.
I've been to Krakow.
Man, his wife is hot. He's gonna kill me if he hears this. Well, maybe not. I would want people to say my wife is hot. Hello from Ohio. I mean, just a gorgeous blonde Polish woman. I mean, just good Lord. Wow. That's all I'm gonna say. Look at those buildings in Abu Dhabi. They're so much further advanced than we are. It's pathetic.
All right, they're gonna read out. They're gonna read the scorecard.
Texas. What's up?
I flew into Lubbock, Texas one time.
Here we go. I'm not gonna play it live. I get in trouble here, but no one can hear it. I can hear it in my ears. All 3 judges, unanimous. Carlos.
Yep.
All 3
tough
judges.
Fight, man. I feel like Carlos did more damage, and I know that's not how the unified rules didn't work. Under Pride, Carlos definitely won that fight. It was a close fight. Like I said, heading into the third round, that was even. And then I felt like Carlos did more damage when he had Brown's back than Brown did when he had when he was working in Carlos's guard.
Sorry, my chair got stuck on this curtain. I'm ripping curtains in here, Jeff. Can you believe this?
But I wouldn't have been. Yeah, I wouldn't have been upset had that went the other way. You know, that was one of those fights where I felt like it could have gone either way or even been a split decision.
Yeah, Carlos Condit now in there with Anik. The question is, does he retire here? I mean, I don't see why he would, but
I don't know. Hopefully not, man. I mean, I don't know. They didn't look bad. Neither one of them looked bad in there.
No.
Are they going to beat people in the top 10? Probably not. But they could have fights like that for a while, you know. But I have to say that Matt Brown, I don't know if he stays in the UFC after that loss. Who are your guys' favorite fighter in the UFC? Would love to know. Captain Monster. Man, that's a tough question. Because I like people for different reasons, right? I I like Valentina a lot because she's so well rounded and her kicks, they're not telegraphed. I mean, God, watching that woman fight is crazy. I like Joanna because she's just nonstop,
Oh, I love her.
with her
She's awesome.
with
And
her
a great
output and
girl,
everything.
too.
Yeah, I like Adesanya, but I still have questions about what we're going to see out of him put in certain positions. I just not that he can't do those positions, but I want to see him face a little more adversity in some of these fights to see where he is at other parts of his game. But I thoroughly enjoy watching him fight. I like watching Stipe. I mean, I don't have a one favorite fighter in the UFC anymore.
Mine for a long time, I'd say Frankie Edgar, just for so many reasons, is one of my favorites for sure. As a person, I mean, as a fighter, how could you not say John Jones? I mean, just what he's done in his career and just the amazing athleticism and brutality and things like that of John Jones. As a person, I mean, so many of them are such good people. I love Condit, Gaethje, I've known forever, Kelvin Gastelum, Henry Cejudo, Karate Hottie, Michelle Watterson. Adesanya has always been super cool to me, but as a fighter in general, and I know Jeff, you're tight with the Iceman, Chuck Liddell. You got his shorts hanging on your wall. It's a buddy of yours, and I think that for me, as actual when I look at the way they fight and their performance in the octagon, it's really hard for me. Just the way that he fights, goes into every fight like it's a war, and you're either going to drop someone or get dropped. It's hard for me not to say Justin Gaethje, man. I mean, how do you not love? And speaking of which, another fighter coming in from another organization as a champion and trying to make it in the UFC the way Gaethje has. How do you not like the way Michael Chandler fights? Violent, right from the
Yeah.
start. I like active fighters. I love the Condits of the world. I love the fighters who just come at you. But it's very tough. Stipe is another one. I mentioned John Jones. I love watching Henry Cejudo. Every fight he gets better and better and puts on another masterpiece. Unbelievable performance after unbelievable performance. So there's a lot of them. That's a good question, Captain Monster. Who's yours, Captain Monster? Put yours in there.
Yeah. Yeah, Gaethje's definitely fun to
Bashkortostan is
watch.
a republic in Russia, by the way. Wursiki says
Okay.
Bashkortostan is a republic in Russia. Okay,
Okay.
very cool. I'm getting excited again, Jeff. And oh my God, Stephen A. Smith. Stop letting Stephen A. Smith do UFC interviews. There, I'm there. Jeez,
Captain
man.
Max Holloway is OG 2-time. Then they got some Khabib fans. I like watching Khabib because it's just excellence, right? It's the personification of perfection, man. When it comes to fighting, I really like watching him fight. I like the build up and the spectacle of Conor fights. I
Yeah.
I almost like that more than the fights themselves. It's just a spectacle of madness until they get in there, and sometimes even afterwards. And then
I think it
there's
was
fighters that
funny.
are frustrating to watch in my
It,
opinion. Like Cody Garbrandt. I get frustrated watching him because I see the skill set and he makes emotional mistakes in there and
yeah,
loses
he
fights.
does.
And so while I'm not Cody, I love watching No Love fight, right? But it's sort of frustrating sometimes because I feel like, man, had he just fought that round smarter, he won. So I don't know, man. It's kind of just depends. Some people I like and some people I don't, and it's hardly ever for personal reasons. It's just watching fights.
Yeah, watching fights, and I mean, I don't know. I definitely love watching. I mean, speaking of people I love watching fight, how about Max Holloway and Calvin Kattar? Both of them. I love watching both these guys fight. They're both incredible. They both come at you. We're gonna see some high level boxing in this fight. Both guys are really good strikers, Jeff, and I'm excited for this main event. I've loved Max Holloway from the beginning, both as a person, the way that he fights in there. The Poirier fight was closer than we thought it was when he lost that one, but then the Volkanovski fights. Remember, you're fighting the elite of the elite. I thought he won the second one. Doesn't have a lot to gain against Calvin Kattar here. And Kattar is a guy, when I look at the way he's fought, Jeff, and what he's done in his career, the Ige fight was phenomenal. Unanimous decision on July 16th of last year. Ige and Kattar, that was a really good fight. He demolished Jeremy Stevens. And really, when he lost to Moicano, and then when he beat Ricardo Lamas is when I first thought, wow, this kid's actually legit. He TKO'd Ricardo Lamas at UFC 238. And then the Zabit fight, the unanimous decision against Zabit. And there's a guy in Zabit, we don't know what we're going to see from him. There's another wild card in that division. And so Zabit Magomed Sharipov, rather, is another wild card in that division. But that was the loss where you thought Kattar really kind of got outclassed, and Zabit's great on the ground, but then he comes back with 2 big wins over Stevens and Ige. The opportunity of a lifetime right now against a former champ and still a very high level fighter in Max Holloway.
Yeah, I love watching Max Holloway fight, right? I mean, and he's so humble, like as a human being, to see him. I don't feel like being the champion went to his head or anything. And the fights that he lost were extremely close. I love Max Holloway, and plus he represents Hawaii, man. And I love because Hawaii has such a great tradition. With the pins and even going to cabbage, Carrera, and then I feel like Max Holloway's carried that Hawaiian torch well.
Yeah, and that New England cartel has been repped pretty well recently too, and Kattar's part of that crew. And my buddy Justin Blasian O'Connor, who used to train at Jackson Wink, I called one of his fights when he fought for a national title on the amateur side, and New Mexico and Northern California. He was on that card. He's out of that group now, New England cartel. But Calvin Kattar, they've got Rob Font is training out of there. They've got some really good prospects coming into this year, and an opportunity not only for Kattar, not only for Lausanne's MMA and New England cartel. This is an opportunity for him to put himself right in title contention. But for Max Holloway, and Kattar's 32 years old, he's no spring chicken. But for Max Holloway, a loss here is devastating. I mean, a loss here for Max Holloway is absolutely devastating for his chances to get that belt back, because he's sitting there knowing that T-City and Volko are going to fight in the end of March for that belt. And could have been Max again. You have the same times in a row, it loses appeal. It gets, people start getting bored of it. So I agree with the move to give T-City the title shot, but Max Holloway is in that conversation. He's not in the conversation if he loses today, Jeff. He's out.
No, he's completely out. He'll have to rebuild, right? He'll have to put together 2 or 3 wins before he gets one of those top guys again. I do like the matchup with T-City, although Holloway's got to be rooting for him, because with 2 losses to the champion, that road back, and like you said, the public interest in seeing that third fight is not there. But T-City wins, and all of a sudden there's a rematch.
Man, I'm just excited. I mean, you look at Holloway and Ortega, Zabit at number 3 in that division. Yair's out with what he's got going on, and Kattar at number 6. Chan Sung Jung is number 5. But really, Holloway's the only guy left to throw in there. So if Kattar wins this fight, he's got to get the next shot, and not knowing what's going to happen with Zabit. I mean, that's the other thing. We don't know what's going to happen with Zabit.
Yeah, we don't, and we'll see how these matches play out. I mean, this one's big. If he wins, I agree with you. He pretty much is next in line. If Holloway wins, I don't know that he gets a title shot. It depends on what happens in that title fight. If T-City wins the title fight, then Max could absolutely in his next fight be a title fight if he wins today. Calvin, I feel like if he wins today, he's going to get the next title shot.
And Zabit hasn't fought since the fall of 2019. I mean, that's you know what I mean? That's a long time.
Yeah, it is a long time. He needs to. I mean, there's just so many unknowns with him. I mean, when's he going to fight again? And then, I feel like he's still partially unproven. Of course, take that with a grain of salt, because I think Israel Adesanya is partially unproven, although he has cleared out the division. And what I mean by that is there's certain positions that I have not seen him in. And I like to see a fighter in every position and how they're going to respond. And now you may never be able to put Izzy in those positions. I still want to see somebody try to, though. So take that with a grain of salt.
Take him down, really. That's a tough
one. I just want to say, take that with a grain of salt. When I say a fighter's unproven, it just means that there's areas of their fight game that I haven't seen, and so I don't have an opinion on. And until I see it, I'm still not going to have an opinion. So when I say that he's largely unproven, take that with a grain of salt. His record would say otherwise.
Well, also, you look at Khabib, the fight against Reginald that gave him the belt. He didn't fight Conor at his best. He never fought Prime Tony. The division was a little thin throughout his rise. So have we seen Khabib face the level of competition that a GSP faced, that a Silva faced, that a John Jones has faced, to put him in that level of being the greatest of all time? I don't see the level of competition in his career that I've seen with some of the other GOATs on GOAT Mountain, and that's why I don't put Khabib at the top. I'm just being real. And I feel like Izzy, at the same time, he did beat Whitaker. The Gastelum fight was incredible, but that division's a little thin right now at 185, and he's going to go up and fight Jan. And, I mean, look, Cannonier doesn't deserve it. Whitaker's waiting in the wings. Till's going to fight Vettori, and that, to me, God, Darren Till better watch out against Vettori. But Izzy's toughest test was against Kelvin Gastelum, and then it was against Marvin Vettori. So I wonder in that division, why Izzy's going up now. There are other guys in that division for him to face, but he wants to fight Jan and unify. 205 is very thin. Maybe that's why they want Izzy to fight at 205, because there's really nobody for Blachowicz to fight, with Jones vacating the belt. And, Glover's the number one guy, but Glover's been there, done that. The last thing Dana White wants is Glover Teixeira being his number one contender. Rumble Johnson's gone. I hate to say it, but that division is thin. Jones cleaned it out, and he's cleaned it out 3 times. He cleaned out the legends when he was young. He cleaned out the people in his era, the Cormiers and the Gustafsons, and then he cleans out the new era of Reyes and Santos and all them, minus Jan, who's now fighting Izzy. So I don't know, man. It's just crazy. But I do know this. The 45 division is stacked, but a loss by Max Holloway here, I mean, it definitely brings Kattar and elevates him and puts, you're in the business of creating new stars, but you run the risk of not having that sizzle for a title fight after Volko T-City.
Yeah, I mean, Max definitely needs to win this, or he's going to drop to the bottom part of the top 5. I'd have to look at the rankings and see. He's not going to drop below people that he's beaten, but with Calvin being ranked 6th, he's going to jump all the way up to number 2 or 3 if he wins today. And you're going to see Holloway drop to 4 or 5 and out of title contention. It's literally having to rebuild everything. And I agree with what you said about Khabib, that the division, does he have the wins that a John Jones has and some other people have? No, I don't think that he does. But I think that he's proven in the aspect of he's faced every variety, every style of fighter in his reign. He's faced other wrestlers. He's faced jiu-jitsu guys. He's fought guys that are knockout artists and stuff. He's beat every one of them. And so that's why I say, when I was saying he's unproven, Khabib's proven to me. Izzy's a little unproven. So it's kind of weird, just the way my mind works on whether somebody's proven. It's how I stay interested in the sport, right? I'm like, oh, Izzy, the champion of the middleweight division, is going up to fight light heavyweight. I'm not sure. He might have a hole or two in his game, which is just me keeping interested.
The Boston finisher, Calvin Kattar. People are fighting with each other in the chat. Speaking of jumping up, our viewership is going through the roof right now, Jeff. I love it. It's awesome. We're here live on YouTube with MMA Weekly, the most trusted source for news and entertainment in mixed martial arts. I'm Jim Greasehaber, my buddy Jeff Kane. If you guys are wrestling fans from the 80s, I call him Captain Lou Albano with his beard and his hair. But it's crazy. And then when he lets the hair fly, it's more like the Undertaker. Captain Lou Albano's the guy who had the rubber bands around the end of his beard. Jeff, come on. I mean, somebody throw up a picture.
I'll work on that.
Can they put pictures in the chat? I don't think so. But okay, we got UK. But I think I love watching people in the chat fight. People are like, someone send a link, and then someone's like, you moron, it's on network TV, and people are like, I'm out of the country. It's pretty funny. But thank you, Captain Monster. He's loving the live stream. And we're going to be bringing you a lot of this. Doing it during Conor and Poirier, too. Next Saturday, we're going to be live streaming Conor versus Poirier. So you guys show up, man. We're going to break the internet next Saturday. We did 1.9 million views for Roy Jones and Mike Tyson. And we're going to hopefully beat 2 million with Conor McGregor.
Yeah. The debate around fights is the best part, or all the sports, right? That's the best part, is the anticipation and the arguing and debate leading up to the fight, right? And then it gets kind of funny after a fight with the excuses made depending on who wins or loses. But that's the best part of it. Just be nice to each other in there. We're all fight fans, right? You got that in common.
Guys,
we're from all over the world.
Watch it on ABC or ESPN Plus. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just say be nice to each other, man. I mean, we're all fight fans. We got people from all over the world, from different cultures and different backgrounds and different ethnicities and different religions and different cultures. And here we're all coming together because we're fight fans. That's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing.
Someone just put Jeff as being reasonable.
Note that.
I like
mark that down, because that doesn't happen very often.
Matthew Mercer says, I have money on Kattar. Let's go. Hey, what was the What was the what were the odds on this fight? Does it throw them up in the chat if anybody has them? I don't feel like researching it right now. I'm kind of lazy, and I kind of have people to do this for me now because we're in
Yeah,
the chat.
I do
No, I mean,
not have odds. I do not have.
Holloway versus
Cutter has a
Kattar.
little. He has like a 3-inch reach advantage. Is the other than that, the stats look pretty much identical. Other than
Thought it was
Calvin
minus
has a.
160. Yep, minus 160 for Max, plus 140 for Calvin. There you go.
Okay, that's close. That's close. That's close. Yeah,
So,
this is going to be a very
who has
interesting
the
fight.
advantage and why, Jeff? Who do you like?
I like Max because he's used to this kind of a main event pressure situation, and he's fought the who's who of the division for years. But I like Calvin's reach advantage, and he throws straight punches, and so Max cannot stand in front of him. I'm picking Max to win this fight, but I think this is a pick 'em, and I think the odds kind of show that this is sort of a pick 'em, man. Calvin could absolutely finish Max Holloway here, but Holloway, man, he's blessed, right?
I love Max Holloway. I want to read something from the chat room. This is great. Robert Machin, Machin. People are talking about spending money on a subscription for ESPN Plus or to UFC, and he puts spend your money on a hoe. Better. I just have a question. Like Robert, what kind of hoe you gonna get for $12.99? Like that's not gonna be. I'm just wondering, like where he's shopping for hoes.
Stay away from that hole. Stay away from that hole. Yeah, yeah, $12.99.
$12.99, man. Come on.
You're gonna get something that doesn't wash off for that, man. I don't know. I don't know. That's the gift that keeps
Man.
on giving.
I mean, if you're paying $12.99 at that point, she might as well be paying you. I'm going down a rat hole here very fast. Help me, Jeff. I'm falling
not
in.
even gas money. No, hey, yeah, no.
It's not
Spend your
even
money
gas
however you
money.
want to. Spend your money however you want to. Just spare us the details on some of it.
Thanks, guys, for throwing up. And like you've Jeff, you've talked a lot, and whenever a fighter suffers a tough loss, they should take time off or whatever. But the psychology of fighting, the mindset is so important. And I've talked to fighters, and I have an interview with Izzy that you can find somewhere where we talk about a champion is in the mind and in the heart, not in the fists and in the feet and in the knees and in the takedown. So, I mean, Max Holloway, 16 wins, 10 finishes, one of the greatest champions in the history of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. 2 very tough losses in a row. He was dominated by Volkanovski the first one, and then the second one he came back and he looked great, but the judges did not see it the way most of us saw it. So Holloway does not seem like the type. And again, before the Volko loss, the first one, he got battered pretty bad by Poirier. I don't think the losses affected Max at all, but I think it bears mentioning.
Yeah, look, I say it all the time. Most of these fighters are pretty close athletically gifted. They pretty much are training the same things, right? They're going over their boxing and their wrestling and their jiu-jitsu and the guard work and up against the fits and in the clinch. They're all doing the same things. What separates the number one guy in the world or the champion from the 15th or 20th ranked guy is all mental. It is all mental. It has nothing to do with physical attributes. And I firmly believe that. What separates Izzy from the number 20th ranked middleweight in the world is his just unwavering belief in himself, unwavering confidence. Doubt never creeps in. And that is so difficult to maintain, right? Because when you get taken down and you're eating elbows, that's doubt jumps in there real quick. And those people are able to overcome it immediately.
Yeah.
And just be like, stick to the game plan. How do I get out of this situation? Simplify it. But it's all mental. It is all mental. That's what separates the best people in the world in anything, not just fighting. Anything is their mindset.
Yeah, their mindset. And look at the focus that Khabib has. We've talked about him a lot today with the announcement that wasn't an announcement, really. But when Khabib's in the cage and he's able to talk to Dana White and go, "Hey, bring me your boy, bring me your chicken," he's so calm and what he did against Gaethje, where he actually is choosing the submission based on not wanting to embarrass him in front of his parent. I mean, just the level of focus and the level of clarity from these great athletes is like John Jones, perfect example in those fights against DC and Gustafsson and Reyes. There's just that extra level that they have that carries them through. GSP had it, whether you think he lost some of those fights later in his run at 170 or not, whether, like the Hendricks fight, the Condit fight, you think GSP won or lost those fights, his level of focus and his level of intensity in those fights, it's all mental. You're right. It's just unbelievable. Stipe against DC, the two of them going 5 rounds in that third fight, just unbelievable. And I think that bears everybody just thinks like, because if it were just based on skill, then Yair Rodriguez would be the champion, and Showtime Pettis would never lose because some of these guys are so amazing when it comes to the skill. And that's why the wrestlers and the grapplers have done so well, especially the wrestlers for years have worn belts like crazy because wrestling breeds that mental toughness that you need to be a champion.
And it also breaks people who don't have a wrestling skill set.
Yeah.
If you're not as good,
Breaks them
Khabib,
mentally.
yeah, I think Khabib's best asset is his mental game. He is the most intimidating person in the world. He just doesn't get rattled. You can be screaming at him, and he's just like, wait a minute, let's talk. It doesn't matter. Send location. The guy just doesn't get rattled. And that to me is his most intimidating factor, although probably the best wrestler to step into the octagon. But yeah, man, you see these people. Matt Hughes had that, like when Frank Trigg had him knocked out against the cage. I mean, had him knocked out. And these champions just find a way. They just push through. They're like Neo in the Matrix, where he stops all the bullets and says no. It's like they're just able to flip that switch and say no. I'm not accepting.
Here they come, Jeff. The fight's underway. Holloway and Kattar. Kattar started as a wrestler, not a high-level wrestler, training mixed martial arts. He's a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, really good striker. Had the chance to train with the Diaz brothers when he was just 19 years old. And, Max Holloway is just different level, man. He's a great boxer. He's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. He's been a champion. He's fought the best of the best. But, here they are in round number 1. Golden opportunity for the 6th-ranked Kattar. Max Holloway, number 1 contender at featherweight, even though Brian Ortega, who's ranked number 2 after the long layoff and the win over the Zombie last year, is getting that title shot in the end of March. So Max has everything to lose, not a whole hell of a lot to gain, as Kattar found a home for a stiff jab pretty early in this fight. But I will say this, Kattar's one of the best boxers Holloway's fought. Poirier's pretty damn good. He's fought some really good boxers. But Kattar, I don't think, has seen the volume, the precision, and the angles with that speed from Max Holloway.
Yeah, Holloway's so calm in there. That we were talking about champions. He is so calm. His demeanor. I mean, even when he gets hit, he's just like, oh well. I love that about Max, man. He never looks like anything gets to him. Even when he's losing a fight, he's just like, yeah, I'll get it back. Right now, they're just kind of exchanging on their feet. I agree. Calvin's jab's finding a home a little bit here. He's got a straight.
Volume, no. Look at the level changes from Holloway, though, Jeff. That's what the angles and the level changes are just it's absurd watching them.
Yeah. Yeah, and Holloway is a cardio guy as well. His conditioning is top notch, and so the longer these fights go, they just fall back into Max's favor. We'll see what happens here, but yeah, Max punches in volumes. It looks like Calvin is kind of throwing the jab out there, trying to set up maybe combinations, but he hasn't able to establish that yet. Although he has established his jab.
Yeah, and in Max's last 3 fights, especially not the last one, but the 2 before that, the Poirier fight and the first Volko fight, he took a ton of punishment, and that does start to add up more than he had taken in a long time, because he didn't take a whole hell of a lot of punishment when he was, dominating Aldo and Frankie Edgar and guys like that.
Yeah, I agree. He's taking a little bit of punishment. What you take away from Max is Calvin will land, and when Max counters, it's 4 punches.
Max is landing though, Jeff.
Oh yeah,
he's landing pretty hard here.
His counter strikes. That's what I'm saying is he's countering off the one jab with a 3 and 4 punch combination. He's going to the bottom or going to the body and then back to the head. Max mixes things up so well. He's a volume striker, like you said. He's not a knockout.
Where's your TV, Jeff? You can't even. You gotta turn your chair or something.
Well, I can see it out of the corner.
Holloway just stomped the bottom of the quad of Kattar above the knee. He stomped it. That's pretty badass. And he's throwing a lot of volume, a lot of speed and quickness from Holloway. He's got to be careful though. He's leaving himself open for a pretty good counter if Kattar's able to. And Kattar's hands are getting through. Holloway's face is already getting red and a little lumped up. This is a good fight. Yeah. Wow. And Max landing a couple times there.
Yeah, I mean, right now, what I'm seeing is that Max is getting off combinations, and Calvin is not doing that yet. Although Calvin is landing, it's one shot at a time.
Yeah.
And Max just goes to the body, man. He just keeps digging to the body.
Yeah, no, he throws a left hook up top and comes back with a straight right to the body. That's absurd. I mean, just little things like that impress me, Jeff. But Kattar's a game opponent. I mean, I think Holloway looks a little better on the feet to start, although Kattar's, some of his punches have found a home. And I like what you said. Holloway's combos have been a difference so far in this fight. Oh, there's a big right hand from Max. Didn't look like it hurt him, but wow, Max Holloway's speed and the way he throws his combinations, changing levels as he does it is just, I mean, just pay attention because you're getting a Picasso right
And
there.
changing speed. I think that's one thing that he does well, and the Diaz brothers do really well. That because there's volume strikers who just pat, 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 pat. Max and the Diaz brothers are different because it's a volume striking, throwing about 60, 65%, and then boom, here comes 100% when down the line. And that's the one that gets you.
Yeah, and then the spinning kick right to the midsection from Holloway and another one. He's just, and a big right from Max. Max is starting to build his confidence here. I mean, he has it from the beginning, but he's feeling really good about himself in there right now with what he's been able to accomplish early in this fight. I mean, we're almost at the end of round one. Max Holloway dominating this round.
Yeah, Max is just putting together combinations. He's found his range and timing early, and Calvin is kind of left with throwing big shots, trying to make up ground. But his jab is there. So Calvin needs to get back to just sticking his jab, and then working combinations in of his own. Right now, he's throwing the jab and it's landing, and then Max is firing back with a 3 and 4 punch combination, and then Calvin's trying to launch a big shot back to end that whole exchange. And it's the big shot's not landing.
Man, I'm getting tired of seeing Stephen A. Smith.
Great first round for Max. Coming in hot, says Ian. Yes, Max always does, man. Max always brings the fight.
I love Max Holloway. We Captain Monster was asking us before about our favorite fighters. Now he wants to know who would win in a fight between you two guys. Oh, good Lord. Nobody.
I would.
the fight
I'll
game itself.
I'm gonna gas on the way to the cage. So you've got it, Jim. You've got it easy. Just make it to the cage and just get Bruce, introduce you, because I'm already going to be out of breath with a defibrillator over there from just the walkout.
So someone says Robert says we're dumb. Must be Trump lovers. Did we storm Congress? No. Yeah, I mean, Robert, what a moron. He's the one who talked about the $12 hoe. I think it's funny, but I love you, Robert. I ain't mad at you.
But let's not assume that all Trump supporters are dumb. Let's not assume that.
Jeff is not a Trump supporter. This much I can tell you. And we're not making this a political show because Trump's on his way out.
I'm not a political show at all. I just say we can't make those assumptions, right? That's part of what's wrong with the political sphere in America. We make those assumptions, right?
Yeah, and don't get Jeff Kane talking about politics because we won't mention another thing about the fight.
I am not going to talk about politics. Absolutely not. I'm just saying let's not make assumptions.
Holloway picking right up where he left off.
Still going to the body, man. That left hook to the body is beautiful.
Beautiful. Gorgeous. And then feints with the knee and then throws that heel right into the midsection. And I mean, Kattar doesn't know what's coming, but he hasn't hurt him yet. I mean, that's one thing I'll say about Kattar. Tough dude. He's a New Englander, just like me.
Oh.
Nice right to the body from Max. And that left hook to the body. And a knee, just so fast. And he never runs out of gas. The Blessed Express. Kattar's jab's finding his way through again, though. Max better watch out. He could get caught here. Someone said, "Don't play with the trolls." Thanks, Daniel. I appreciate it. Don't play with the trolls.
You gotta watch for when Calvin starts landing his right hand. He's landing his jab now, but he hadn't been able to land that right hand. And if he's able to put together that combination, it's going to be crazy.
Someone put the bald guy would win. Jeff has a lot of jiu-jitsu.
No, I'm telling you, I'm going to gas on my way to the cage. There's no way I'm going to win. There's just no way. I'm not even going to take the fight. I'm going to pull out the back.
We're having fun.
Yeah, I'll pull a Ken Shamrock against Kimbo and get cut before I even come out in the back.
Our numbers
and then you'll
are
be fighting Seth Petrozelli
right now. I'll be fighting who?
Seth Petrozelli. I was saying I'll pull a Ken Shamrock and just get a cut in the
Oh,
back against Kimbo, and then
oh,
you'll be facing Seth Petrozelli, and I'm guessing you're going to lose that one.
oh my God, Seth with the pink hair. That was
Yeah,
awful. That whole thing was a
the
debacle.
Kimbo Killer. The Kimbo Killer. Well,
They
what's
should have
Ken doing
never
getting
thrown him
cut
out
in the
there,
back?
man. Why did they do that? That was just stupid. Oh, Max just ate a pretty good hook and a right to follow it up, though. Holloway's dominating in terms of overall strikes landed, but Kattar just hurt him twice. Not really hurt him, but stung him. Kattar
Yeah,
definitely
it's
looks
hard to tell
outclassed.
whenever you've got Max hurt. Because Max fires back no matter what, and so it's hard to tell when you've got him hurt.
Oh, Max. Heavy, intense volume. Just, wow. Unbelievable. What a great fight to put on ABC. If you're going to put on anybody on ABC TV and say, hey, this is the guy we want you to see fight, I mean, who's better than Max? He's a great dude. He's humble. He's a champion.
Mhm.
He's incredible in the cage. Everyone wants to see a stand-up war. Kattar's cut. It's bleeding coming out of his right eye now, and he just missed with a kick and got dropped by a shot from Max.
Oh, look at those shots to the body are just so brutal. Yeah,
Yeah.
Max is perfect to put on here because he also has that Hawaiian demeanor that's so laid back whenever he talks. It's disarming. I love watching Max Holloway talk or hearing him talk in press conferences and stuff. He's funny and he's just got that real laid back kind of. I don't
And he
know
just
how
rocked
else
him
to
with two
explain it.
big rights, Jeff, and he's killing him on the body. Holloway's unloading. Might be looking for a finish here. Just crushing him over and over again.
Yeah,
Kattar
yeah,
doesn't look hurt, though. He's swinging back. There's blood coming out of his nose, blood from above his eye. I mean, Max
yeah.
is just peppering him up here. This is close to over, if you ask me. I never want to say
Calvin's
that about
face.
any fight, but man.
Yeah, Calvin's face is definitely wearing, uh, showing the damage. And Max, there was just another combination right there. Max is getting close to finishing this fight. He's got
Blood
Calvin hurt.
everywhere.
Yeah, he's beaten Calvin to the punch. Calvin has kind of resorted to backing up to the cage, and it's just a matter of time whenever Max gets you doing that.
Underhook from Max on the reversal,
Oh,
elbow to the
Max!
side. Yeah, that's not blood coming out of Holloway's body. That's Kattar's blood all over Max's. Kattar's blood's everywhere now. Oh,
Okay,
spinning
at
elbow.
the at the
Look
end
at
of
the
that round,
significant strikes. 87 significant strikes so far in the first two rounds to like, what, 32, 39.
yeah,
88 significant strikes for Max Holloway in the first two rounds. Oh, and a head kick at the end. And
yeah. Yeah, Calvin's
whoa.
hurt. And the round ended. Max landed a left head kick that staggered
Woo.
Calvin, except the round ended.
I
Yeah,
love you, Max Holloway. I'm
this
fanboying out
fight's
here.
going one way. This fight's going one way right now. And Calvin hit the canvas twice in that round, but it looked like he was off balance both times. Max didn't drop him. He did knock him down twice, but it looked like Calvin was off balance a little bit both times.
Man, our numbers are going through the roof. What a performance so far by Max Holloway, looking every bit like the champion that he is, and just blood coming out of Kattar's face everywhere. Max dropped him twice in that round. That kick at the end. I mean, this thing would be over if this round had another 10, 15 seconds in it, and Kattar stumbling back. And, you give him credit. He's game. He's a fighter in every sense of the word. His whole entire face is red. He's bleeding from everywhere, and he's still coming out for this next round. His nose is broken. His nose is definitely broken, no doubt.
Yeah, he's got to start. I I don't know what he's got to do. He can't stand in front of Max Holloway. Max Holloway's beating him to the punches and beating him in the exchanges. So Calvin's got to work angles here and stay out from in front of Max. I mean, Max is just throwing four punch combinations and digging to the body, and Calvin has no answer for that right now.
Yeah, this Perry. So, oh man, this is unbelievable performance by Holloway. I mean, exactly what he needed. And I'm gonna give you a fearless prediction. Don't let me leave this show without giving you a fearless prediction, Jeff. Before we go, it involves Max Holloway and the 145-pound belt. Another big overhand right from Holloway, and well, what a great! This is so much fun. I love doing this.
Yeah, this is a good main event, man. This is a good main event. I got two of me over here.
Look at Jeff and Jeff. Yeah, look at that. We got two Jeff Canes up there.
Two. That's good. That's good. They
Oh,
fed
that
me
knee to
after
the
midnight.
midsection does not feel good, Jeff. That knee to the gut when you've already eaten so many shots and you're tired and it's the third round. I mean, good Lord. And Max just does not wear down, although Kattar, I think he glanced him or
Okay.
he might have just hit him with an elbow there.
I,
Oh, and
yeah.
Max just combos, unloading.
What I see going on is Calvin is loading up on punches now. He knows that he has to land the big shot. He's losing this fight. But when he does that and he misses, Max makes him pay with multiple punch combinations.
Multiple punch, but he did hit him with an uppercut. Oh, the left hook from Max on the button. Wow.
Oh, and another combination by Max. Yeah, Calvin is backing straight up too. When he gets hit with those first two shots, he backs straight up, and Max is able to come over the top with the right hand. And he keeps digging to the body, man. And that's just, you know how bad that is. I would much rather you hit me in the jaw than in the body. But
No,
that's just
and
me.
it just begs the question too when you watch Max again with a big right and how great he is. How great is Volkanovski? I mean, that's in my head right now too. Jesus, that guy's unbelievable, fighting and beating this guy twice. You know?
Yeah, we need it. Yeah, I'd pay to see that fight 10 times. You know.
Oh, that body kick and the left hook. Oh, good God, Kattar is the toughest dude walking God's green earth. Wow.
Okay, now you got, yeah. Calvin's just at a loss right now. There's
I mean, he's
nowhere
doing
where
what he did to Brian Ortega, right? Same thing. He's doing the same thing he did to T
exactly,
City.
exactly the same thing. And Calvin just doesn't have an answer, right? I mean, he lands his jab, but then he's unable to follow up with anything. And then Max is able to hit him with combinations to the body and head in exchange. And like I said, Calvin gets caught in the pocket, and then he backs straight up and gets hit again. It's and then Max is just like another day at the park. You know, his expression hasn't changed. He doesn't look like he has a mark on him.
Inside of 2 minutes left, and I mean, he brings his kid with him. It's all about his family. He's a good dude. I mean, I really appreciate Max Holloway. Let's put it that way. I mean, not only, and I told you I got to hang out with him, and we had some fun in Vegas last March after Izzy and Yoel. A couple days later, he was playing craps at the Aria, and got a chance to hang out and talk with him some. And just, I told him, I said, you're exactly what a champion should be in any sport. I mean, he's humble, he's cool, he's down to earth, he's funny, he's bankable. And this is exactly the way you thought this fight would play out, at least the way I thought it would. And he wasn't that big of a favorite in this fight, but he's definitely been dominating it from the and Kattar's still coming forward. He hasn't lost a lot of steam. He's still throwing hard for his, on his end, and give him a lot of credit. He's absorbed a lot of punishment. Last round, he was bleeding pretty badly. This round, not so much. Another big right on the button, though, from Max. And Kattar's just walking through him, but they're all landing and they're all doing damage.
Yeah, Calvin,
Wow.
he still looks there. He's just throwing big shots, and whenever he misses, he's overcommitted. And first of all, you don't have to leave yourself wide open for Max Holloway. But if you do leave yourself wide open, Max Holloway is going to take huge advantage of it, and that's what he's doing right now. Max looks great. He's throwing jumping knees to the body. He's throwing spinning kicks. He's jab. He's throwing combination. Max looks absolutely phenomenal today.
And Max's 2-3 combo is as good as any I've ever seen in the octagon. When he throws that straight right, changes levels down and comes up with a hook either to the head or to the body. But his straight right followed by that hook to the body, the 3 to the body, is just absurd. Oh, now he's doing the robot dance in there. I love Max Holloway.
Yeah, what's not
He's
to like
toying.
about Max Holloway? What's not to like about Max Holloway? Yeah,
What a round
Max is
by
in
Max.
complete control of this fight. But Calvin has knockout power. And that's what I'm saying. Calvin is landing his jab. If he can find a way to put his right hand on Holloway, he could change the course of this fight. But he hasn't been able to do that through the first 3 rounds.
No, and we just saw on a replay, he did hit Max pretty hard with a right in that round. But Max, I mean, you're just seeing the replay here. Those combinations, the body shots, the straight right followed by the 3, which is that hook. And now he's just kind of toying with him and bobbing and weaving and doing a little robot dance in there. But Max Holloway has absolutely dominated this fight. But again, Kattar did hit him pretty hard with the right in that last round. And Max is definitely at a point where, I mean, Kattar has not slowed down and he still has a lot of power. So Max has still got to be careful in there.
Yeah, and towards the end of that round, with about 40 seconds to go, Calvin did land a short elbow on the inside as Max was kind of closing the distance, and Max reached up and kind of touched his eye, I guess, to see if he was cut. So it definitely landed, but he's just not able to touch Max nearly as much as Max is able to touch him.
No, and where's the numbers? I want to see the striking numbers. I want to see the significant strikes landed by Max, and I'm expecting Max to maybe throw some more kicks here. But his boxing is just on point in this fight. On point. And Kattar
I
is
am impressed
legitimately a tough dude.
Yeah, I am impressed that Calvin doesn't look to have slowed down any. I mean, he's still taking shots, but he doesn't look like he's slowed down any. And this is the part of the fight where Max usually starts to take over, because this is where his conditioning kicks in.
Someone even commented, "Who is Max fighting? I haven't heard anybody else's name mentioned." Well, that's because it's been all Max Holloway. Maybe 4 shots
I've been
that did
talking
any damage
Calvin.
landed by Calvin Kattar this whole fight.
I've been talking about Calvin, man. He, like I said, he landed that short elbow on the inside that last round. He's still landing his jab. His jab looks great. It looks like he's coming after his jab. He's coming with a right hook that's a little loopy, and Max is able to get inside of it.
Oh, yeah, but the way Max is digging in the body, like throwing a double jab and then coming back with a right to the body, it's landing every time. I mean, a double jab, and he's coming back with a left hook to the body, but just how fast he throws the double jab and the hook to the body, and then sometimes he'll throw the double jab and then throw right back with that right hand over the top. I mean, he's mixing it up. He's changing levels. He's changing angles. He leads with a hook there. You don't know what the hell he's going to do, where he's going to come from. He's mixing it up head and body, changing levels, changing angles, changing speeds. I mean, what are you supposed to do against this guy? Although that jab got him right in the eye from Kattar.
I'm at the 250 mark into this round, and Max Holloway is getting ready to finish this fight. He is just pummeling Calvin against the cage. I mean, to the body. I mean, Calvin's able to throw back, but Max is just hitting him. He dug to the body like it was a video game.
Yeah, careful, Jeff. You're about 10 seconds ahead of everyone, so don't spoil it for people.
Yeah, I am not spoiling
fighting back like a beast, though. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's just Max is pouring it on right now. Max is sensing the end is near, and Max is pouring on the offense.
Oh. Kattar is he can barely tough. He can barely stand. He's out on his feet.
He landed a left hook, though.
Elbow. Are you kidding me? This is all-time toughness from Kattar. All-time
Max
toughness.
has to be careful because Calvin's throwing heaters, but he's way hurt right now.
Wow. How is he still alive, let alone standing up, Jeff? How, Calvin Kattar?
It's just toughness, man. It's just toughness. He doesn't know any better, right? And Max is still just going to the body, to the body, to the body. Oh.
Wow, and that's Kattar's blood that's all over Holloway.
Yeah, now Calvin has slowed down. You see the body shots are now adding up, paying dividends.
Oh, those elbows from Max are killing him. Now he's throwing knees up at him. I mean, just like, wow.
It's just classic Max Holloway, right? This is just classic.
This is tough to watch. These are the ones that do the most damage. I mean, he's just, if you remember the Ortega fight, now Max is going for a double leg. Are you kidding me? Wow. 224 significant strikes to 80. 44%. He's thrown over 500.
Ooh. Calvin just landed a really nice right hand. You know, Calvin's not going anywhere. He weathered
you're way
that.
ahead of us.
Well, I'll slow down, but Calvin weathered that onslaught from Max Holloway.
And now he's hitting him. He's actually landing some shots on Max.
Yeah, I feel like Max might be aggressive. Yeah, I feel like Max might be taking a breather right here. I mean, he unloaded probably 80 punches right there or more.
My God. Oh. Now a spinning kick to the midsection. So this is literally, I mean, Max has just unloaded on Kattar. I can't believe the guy's still in there. This is one of the most amazing, relentless performances of Max Holloway's career. And I don't know how many fighters I've seen take the amount of punishment that Kattar's taking in this fight and keep on coming the way he is. I mean, this is legendary on Calvin Kattar's part too. Make no mistake about it. We're at the end of 4 rounds, and most guys would have been out of there in round 2, maybe round 3. Wow, Max
Yeah.
Holloway even looking at it with respect, like, dude, how are you still here?
And round 4, right there, Max Holloway absolutely battered Calvin Kattar. I mean, battered Calvin in that one. I mean, it's
this is yeah.
I mean, honestly, had Calvin fail, that's a 10-8 round. He stayed standing, so I think the judges will give it 10-9.
I was just going to ask you if that's a 10-8 round. It's a 50-45 fight so far. I mean, if the 5th round plays out the same way, but it could be that could be a 10-8 round for Max. That's close to a 10-8 round.
Yeah, that was really close. I say that's a 10-9 round still because Calvin didn't like fall over or anything, but that was close to a 10-8 round. I wouldn't be shocked if one of the judges scored it a 10-8 round. That's how one-sided that round was for Max. But right there at the end, Calvin came back and landed a couple of big shots on Max, while Max, I feel like, was trying to catch his breath after that flurry of that. I mean, it was probably 80 or 90 punches right there.
Man, unbelievable. Wow. And Holloway ready to go again. His Kattar's nose is completely caved in and destroyed. There's no way he's breathing through that thing. Wow. Wow.
No, and now look, Max could cruise to this victory right here. Max could take this entire 5th round off and get the unanimous decision. That's not what Max Holloway does, though. They're throwing down here in the 5th round.
Kattar missed on a heater of a right hand, and Holloway just pointed the finger at him like, no, wagged it a little bit like Mutombo. Oh, my God. This is unbelievable. Kattar is he looks good in there, man. He was out on his feet in the 3rd and the 4th rounds, and he's still coming. I can't tell you how impressed I am enough with Calvin Kattar in this fight. He still has a puncher's chance after all that.
Yeah, and he's throwing to do so. Like he's throwing to finish the fight. It just hasn't landed yet.
He has no other choice. Wow. But it's his only way he could even have a chance of winning because he's so far behind on the cards, number 1. But number 2, against Max's boxing, the only shot he has is to throw that heater and connect. That's it. And Max just relentlessly peppering him with combos still. Just, wow. This is Max Holloway as good as I've ever seen him look.
Yeah, and Max keeps digging to the body, and Calvin doesn't know where it's going. So he drops his hands to protect the body, and then Max goes right back to the head. This is textbook. This is textbook boxing for Max Holloway.
Those cuts are opened up again. The straight right's getting through. He's bleeding from the top of his head, from his eyes. His nose is caved in. I mean, just a performance of a lifetime. And even Volkanovski's tweeting, damn, like DAAAAMN. I just wonder why there's an N on the end. I mean, why is there an N on the end of that?
Max looks as good as he's ever looked tonight. Max looks as good as he's ever looked.
The fans in Abu Dhabi getting a treat. How about that, Jeff? The fans getting a treat.
It's weird, right? Yeah, we get to hear them cheer and stuff. It's weird now.
The Blessed Express rolling through this one, man. And he took a right and then a left. Kattar's landing still. Jeez Louise, man. Holloway better watch out. I mean, he's put on a clinic of he could still lose this fight. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, Calvin's still in there trying to win the fight. He's just outmatched. I mean, that's what I get out of this. Calvin's tough, man, and he's got a great jab, but he's just outmatched by Max Holloway, period.
Oh, and 3 straight knockouts to start this card. I believe all first-round knockouts, and then we go the distance, Condit and Brown, and now this one, about 2 minutes left, and Holloway and Kattar still going.
And Max is talking to him now. That's interesting. Max is talking to Calvin.
He's throwing so many punches in this fight, Max Holloway. Holloway's not tired at all, though. I love watching these lighter guys.
I mean, Max is he's just talking to him. This is crazy to watch. Max is just talking to him, pointing his finger and stuff. Oh, and he just let it. I mean, Max I know I'm ahead of you, but wait, in about 4 seconds, you're going to get to see some amazing shit out of Max Holloway.
The right to the body you're talking about? And he just pointed at Dana. Who did he point at? He pointed at someone.
It's going to happen right now.
Oh. Whoa. Whoa, are you kidding me? That's some Anderson Silva shit right there.
Just put his hands down. Just put his hands down and used head movement to dodge all of Calvin's shots.
You better be careful though.
And now he's
Don't.
talking to Dana again. He's pointing to Dana, and now he's talking to Calvin. Max has gone off the rails this last round.
A little bit. You better be careful still, though. I mean, there's some time left in this fight. Wow, he's locked in. Max Holloway just putting on a clinic. Wow, pointing at Dana. I'm way behind you, Jeff. Way behind you, bro. I mean, just 45-13 strikes in round number 5, significant strikes. 87 significant strikes in round 4. That's a 10-8 round, Jeff. I'm going to disagree with you. That's a 10-8 round. I can't even. Wow. Oh, Max just took a shot to the right eye, though. Careful, Max. Careful. You got 30 seconds left, bro. How much time do you have left, Jeff?
I'm closing in on the final 10 seconds.
Okay, so you're about.
But I'll let you do I'll let you do the call. No,
that's okay. I don't want to do the call. I just want to make sure that that Max doesn't get finished here late, like Yair zombie style. Kattar threw a head kick, man. And he almost wow. I love Calvin Kattar. I'm now a big Calvin Kattar fan. That the punishment that he's taken, this fight's over. What a performance by Max. Oh my God. Jeff Kane, Max Holloway's career. We've seen some brilliance in there. This has to be his top performance that we've ever seen. It has to be. Have we ever seen a better performance from Max Holloway?
I mean, maybe in the Aldo. I mean, no. Max looked like Max tonight, and he just absolutely dominated Calvin for 5 rounds. Dominated him. He looked as good as he's ever looked. I don't know if if he looked better than he ever has, but he certainly didn't look like he had lost anything.
Man, oh man, Jeff Kane. Unbelievable.
But that 5th round was crazy. I mean, he's pointing at Dana White, talking to Dana White, got his hands down, just dodging Calvin's punches with head movement while talking to Dana White. Then he lands a combination, points back at Dana.
If ESPN's people know anything about MMA, and we'll get a real test here, that's what you need to show on SportsCenter. There's the highlight right there. And we got literally almost nothing going on in the NFL games yet, right? Do we have anything going on in the NFL games? Not that I even know of. I mean, who cares about the NFL right now? I'll worry about that later. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are playing the Rams, and they're up 16-10 in the second quarter. And then you got what else you got coming on today? You got Warriors, Lakers. That's Monday. So not the UFC is pretty much. I mean, you got the NFL playoffs and the UFC center stage here. Man, what an unbelievable performance by Max Holloway, Jeff. I can't even. Oh, good Lord.
He made Calvin look like he was the number 6 ranked guy, right? That's why Max Holloway's ranked the number 1 contender. And it's going to be interesting to hear what he says right here. You're going to be able to hear it. I have the volume down so we don't get in trouble. But tell us what Max says here.
Hold on, Jeff. Whoa, we got news here. One of the judges had it 50-42.
So he had 3 rounds, 10-8?
50K. Wow, man. 50-42, Jeff, and another one had it 50-43.
Yeah, I mean, if there was a 10-8 round, I thought it was the 1 round. I didn't see 3 10-8 rounds, but Max dominated the fight. I mean, absolutely dominated it. And I wasn't able to watch it completely like I would if we weren't broadcasting. So maybe they were. Maybe I missed a bunch of shots. But like you brought up, he did have Calvin almost out on his feet in 2 rounds.
Wait a minute. That's isn't that 3 10-8 rounds? No.
Yeah, for it to be 42, it's 3 10-8 rounds. Yeah.
3 10-8
and then
rounds,
the other one had 2
50-43,
10-8 rounds.
2 10-8. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, is this the most dominating performance? It's one of the most dominating performances we've ever seen at this high of a level. And guess what? In his post-fight interview, guess what Max said? He said, hey, guess what? Your boy's going to be here all week. If anything happens to Conor or Poirier, throw me in there. I mean, people are asking who our favorite fighter is, Captain Monster. How do you not love Max Holloway? And how do you not? Kattar just gave a classy interview. He's fine. Kattar just took a beating, an absolute beating from Max Holloway. Wow.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was as one-sided of a main event as we've seen, especially that went the distance. Crazy. Yeah, Max looked good.
The Blessed Express. He's got a few scratches on him.
You know what that shows you is how far the drop-off is from number 1 to 6. That's what that just showed us.
Man, and we got more coming up. Jeff, we're coming everybody's way. Tomorrow, we'll be right back here, and we'll be doing a recap show. We'll be talking a lot about Max Holloway, turning the corner, looking ahead to Conor McGregor. Wednesday, we got Chiesa and Magny. We got the Conor McGregor's Funniest Moments show. Next Friday, we have a preview show for Conor and Holloway, or Conor and Poirier. And then Saturday, we stream live McGregor and Poirier. Sunday, after that, the recap show. It's going to be a busy week here on MMA Weekly with a lot of intense programming. But what a way to kick off the 2021 year for the UFC on broadcast network TV for the first time in 3 years. 3 early knockouts on the main card, a vintage Carlos Condit performance, and the performance of a lifetime from Max Holloway, one of the greatest champions the sport has ever seen.
Yeah, Max looked great tonight. That was classic Max Holloway. You know, the only thing I have with the scores is Calvin was in that fight. He was getting the crap beat out of him, but he was in that fight. Like, he was never not in the fight. He was throwing back even at the last minute. He threw a head kick at the last seconds of that fight. And so I don't know that I think that 50-42 doesn't like do Calvin justice, but I don't know if it's like a not accurate score. You know, I just feel like Calvin was in there more than that.
Man, oh my God.
But it was a one-sided
DC's going crazy. DC's
that was a one-sided performance completely.
Man, DC's already at like 5-year retirement weight, man. He better be careful.
Yeah. Yeah. The super heavyweight now. It's a super heavyweight.
Easy for me to say. But he's fired. I love Daniel Cormier, by the way. I'm unapologetic. I love him. There was more misplaced hatred and venom toward him than almost any athlete I've ever seen because he's a good dude, just a great guy. But my God, Jeff, I mean, what a performance by Max Holloway. What a way to kick off the year. What an opportunity for the UFC on ABC TV and a performance by Max Holloway. I mean, you want to talk about the types of performances you see from a Tom Brady or we just version right there.
Yeah, that Max looked phenomenal. That was a great first event on ABC. There were tons of finishes on the main card. The main event delivered. Max Holloway isn't going anywhere. He's still the number 1 contender. I don't care who's fighting for the title next. Max Holloway is the number 1 contender. Yeah, I don't even know what else to say, man. That's as good as Max has ever looked. But then again, that was typical Max Holloway. Like, I didn't see anything that he did that made me go, wow, Max has added stuff. That's just who Max Holloway is right there.
Unbelievable. He did that early on, and that shows you how good Volkanovski is, because you remember that second fight, Jeff, and the first one Volko dominated, but the second fight, Max started off on fire in those first 2 rounds, was landing everything against Volko, and for him to be able to turn the tide and swing that fight back in his favor, which clearly we saw Max just getting stronger throughout the fight as he's done throughout most of his career. It just tells you how good Volkanovski is. So think about those 3 guys, all right? Because think about 55, think about 45, think about 70. At 70, we talk about Usman, the champion, Covington and Burns. At 55, we talk about Khabib and Conor and Poirier and Gaethje and now Mike Chandler and Oliveira in that mix. And at 145, though, the top 3 in that division, Volkanovski, Holloway, and the re-emerging, reconfigured, everything T-City Brian Ortega. Those, oh my God, those 3 guys, incredible.
Yeah,
700
I
strikes,
agree.
dude. 700. He threw 700 strikes in a 5-round fight. Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, but we also have to remember what Max did to T-City, right? It looked worse than what happened today. And so really, in my opinion, there's 2 people in that division, And I want to see the trilogy because I didn't agree with the second scoring, the second fight scoring. Now, I'm not saying I'm right. Max clearly took the L, but man, there's two people in that division that seem to be head and shoulders above everybody else. But we won't know that till we see this new reinvigorated T City in there. It's next time. But right now, I think there's two guys in there, man.
Unbelievable. Wow. I can't even believe fight of the year. I don't know if fight of the year, that's a performance of the year. Fight of the year would be like two guys throwing down like that. But this is a great fight card. And people say fight of the year. It's the first fight card of the year. But I think on the prelims there was a pretty good heavyweight fight too. That was awesome. It was Felipe and Tafa split decision. That was a great fight. Did you see that one, Jeff?
Parts of it. Yeah, it was a back and forth fight in what I saw. It was a good night of fights, man. Like I said, tons of finishes on the main card. Close fights on the preliminary card. Main event was not close though. Max Holloway solidified himself as the number one contender, in my opinion. He's just not getting a title shot next.
Well, that fight's the end of March, and you don't know, like if one of those fighters doesn't make it, and then but if Volko doesn't make it, and then you need Max to step in against T City, but it's not for a belt. I don't know if I do that if I'm Max. I waited out.
I wouldn't do that if I were T City. I'll tell you that right now. I don't take that fight. If
neither one of them would, right?
Well, I think Max probably would, right? Because then he eliminates the number one contender, and then there's nobody else. It's just him. So I think Max probably takes that fight. But if I'm T City, hell no. I've got a title fight now. I'll wait till the champion can get in there.
Yeah. That was end up happening, but what's it said Zabit will. I mean, we've seen that Zabit will fight in the next 3 months, according to Dana White. That's what Dana White has said. But where is he gonna be? Where is he gonna be? You know what I'm saying? Like, who's he gonna fight? What's gonna happen with him in those rankings? Who's the opponent? You know?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know
who's in this fight.
Yeah, I don't know who they're going to put him in there, but I don't see them putting him in there against the top three, because why would you ruin?
What about Josh Emmett for Zabit?
That's a good fight. That's a good fight, and that's an exciting fight. I like that matchup. But what I'm saying is, you don't want to ruin Max's re-rise back or T City's staking claim to the title shot. You don't want to ruin any of the matchmaking that's naturally played out now. And so you got to be careful with him. But you also want to build him. And so for him to fight the number seventh or eighth ranked guy is not a bad idea. You know, he's liable to look good, liable to get a win, and then you solidify that second kind of plan B if plan A at the top of the division doesn't work out.
Man, I'll tell you what, Jeff, and we got some big numbers on this stream. I was able to start it off solo, warmed it up for you, fluffed it. You know what I'm saying? But I just, wow, man, it's just crazy.
Well, I had to wait. They sent out that press release as if there was going to be a big announcement. So I was like, look, I've got to write up this article. There's no way. And then the announcement ended up being a flop, So I wish I had just jumped on here, and if the announcement was big, left.
All he did was leave the door open for a potential return, in case you're wondering, guys. There was no real announcement.
No.
Check out Jeff Kade's story on MMAWeekly.com.
Yeah, he's just thinking about coming back. It's nothing new. There's nothing new.
What else we got on the site, Jeff? What else did you write? What else do we have to tease for you?
Oh, I'll have the main event article written up as soon as I get to it. And then we'll have all the post-fight coverage, right? We'll have the post-fight press conference video stream up, the replay of it. We will have the bonuses, and then anything that they say that's newsworthy. You know, if Dana talks again, what Max's plans are, where Calvin goes from here. We'll hear from Carlos Condit, I'm sure. There'll be a lot of news coming in on the website over the next couple of hours.
So make sure you keep it on MMAWeekly.com. On our YouTube, we have the 2021 preview show. Make sure you watch that, because Jeff and I tore it up for 45 minutes. We just, talked about every single thing you could possibly imagine, every division, how it might play out, who the champions could be, the top contenders, the emerging forces, who could fight who, what we're looking forward to. That was one of the best times I've had with you, Jeff. We had a lot of fun doing that show. So check that out on YouTube. We got big time shows coming up this week. Smash that like button, hit that bell for us, subscribe to the channel, leave comments, do whatever you got to do. I mean, you guys have been great in the chat today. Chat room coming strong, Jeff, from start to finish.
100%. And people from all over. That's what I was most impressed with. I mean, we had people from regions in Russia to Turkey, to Hawaii, to Tennessee, Mexico, Poland. It was just crazy to see the international group of people that we had. Yeah.
Something tells me we'll have some people in Ireland next Saturday night. I don't know why we would, but next Saturday night, man, we're gonna some Irish coming strong in here. We're gonna be streaming live during McGregor and Poirier.
Yeah, I got the date wrong earlier because they have 3 events in 8 days, and I just knew we had 3 events. So I was like, yeah, in 2 weeks. No, that's this weekend. This coming up weekend.
All right. No, and I'm going to do this. We have a king of the comments, and he's begging for it. So I almost don't want to give it to him, like, when your kid keeps asking for something. But Captain Monster came strong today in the chat room. So I'm going to give Captain Monster the comment belt. He's the king of the comments. There he goes. I am king of the comments. Give me the comment belt. Captain Monster, you got it, brother. You got it. And you might be female, but I doubt it. But it could be. It's a gender-neutral name. We're in 2021. Captain Monster, thank you for being the king of the comments today. Someone says you could have replaced Kattar with a punching bag with the same results. He threw a lot of shots. That's not a fair comment, man. That was a great performance by Kattar. Just staying alive in there. Yeah, I mean, always be blessed. Hashtag as I like it. So anybody in the comments, it's your last chance if you want to come strong. We're about to sign off here. So, and you're welcome, Captain Monster. But anybody who wants to come strong, give us a final take in the comments. Your final takeaway from the fights today. Your final takeaway from the announcement that wasn't. Your final preview, prediction, whatever you have for the week that's coming. For Chiesa and Magny, for Conor and Poirier, for Chandler and Hooker. Come on. Last chance in the comments. Jeff, what a week we have coming up. Everybody's sleeping on this Wednesday card, and you know what usually happens when that's the case. It ends up being an all-time classic. When you have Chiesa and Magny coming up on Wednesday, my birthday's tomorrow. I'll be a year older for this fight card, but I'm telling you what, man, Chiesa and Magny, it wasn't originally going to be the main event, but 2 great welterweights, and Magny really impressed me with his comeback last year.
Yeah, Magny's on the rise. That's a good fight. And Chiesa, since moving divisions, is coming out. And my takeaway from today is Max Holloway looked great. Max isn't going anywhere. And I don't think Calvin lost anything for that loss. I feel like he probably learned a lot going against Max Holloway. And now he knows what the top of that division's like. And so this next time he gets there, I expect him to do better. But I don't think he drops in the rankings because of that loss.
All right. And the Blessed Express keeps rolling. Hit the like button, subscribe, keep following us, smash it. We're here to stay. This is our year. MMA Weekly, Jeff Kane, Jim Grieshaber, live weigh-in shows, live post-fight press conference shows, live streams of the biggest fights, including McGregor and Poirier, and, of course, Chiesa and Magny. On Wednesday, we are going to be here for you. Conor McGregor's top 5 funniest press conference moments coming up later this week. You name it, we got it coming for you right here on MMA Weekly. Jeff, they're playing us off the stage, man. What's your final thought for the day?
Max Holloway, blessed, looked amazing. That's all I got, man. Max looked great, and I don't think Calvin's going to drop. A great event for the first time on ABC. I look forward to it, man. What a way to kick off 2021.
Keep watching, folks. Keep watching. The most trusted source for news and entertainment in mixed martial arts is MMA Weekly. For Jeff Kane and our entire MMA Weekly team, I'm Jim Grieshaber saying thank you for watching our live stream today. The UFC Fight Night on ABC, Holloway and Kattar, Max, and the Blessed Express keeps on rolling. We'll be back with you tomorrow for our wrap-up show right here on MMA Weekly's YouTube. Check out MMAWeekly.com for full coverage of the UFC on Fight Island.